Guys, if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt, don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny new gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix. And it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job. It's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Another word Brandon Johnson doesn't understand the definition of. You don't refi debt to pay more money, stupid. But ghettonomics, you refi debt to not make 2 months worth of payments. That's how you live low, Chicago style. Don't worry, it's just as bad in California and New York. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Watch out for an afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 84. Massive flash flooding in Nepal has killed at least 22, 384 tourists, 291 from countries like the United States and the United Kingdom are reported missing. The U.S. and Canada have ramped up their trade war, hitting each other with steep new tit-for-tat tariffs. Despite the bravado, analysts expect the longtime allies will eventually strike a deal. South Carolina Senator Darlene Graham has won the Republican Senate primary runoff there.
People are moving to South Carolina in droves to get away from the blue state policies of the Democratic Socialist.
She'll face Democrat Annie Andrews in November. And a private group is proposing express rail service between O'Hare and the old post office downtown. CEO Dave Lundy.
This is going to be a 15-minute express train using battery electric technology, whisper quiet trains that will get you from downtown near the old post office to O'Hare.
Lundy says the group has already reached an agreement to use CSX rail lines. The news a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing lower with the Dow snapping a 3-session winning streak as investors weigh sticky inflation data ahead of NVIDIA's earnings. The AI chip darling's financial results will be released after the bell and will test the AI rally. Its stock has been lower 8 of the last 9 trading days and fell nearly 2% today. Chip stocks were mixed and the Magnificent 7 big cap tech stocks were mostly lower. Inflation readings for July measured by the PCE price index matched or came in slightly higher than in June. Meta Platform shares rose 1% after the social media giant settled its child safety suit. The Dow winners, Caterpillar, Honeywell Technologies, and Microsoft. The Dow decliners, Goldman Sachs, Alphabet, and IBM. The Dow down 114 points. The Nasdaq lower by 21. S&P 500 down 2. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Larry Elder sees the economy turning up.
S&P closes at new record high, buoyed by cooler than expected inflation data and falling oil prices. But Donald Trump has taken a mallet to the economy. Things are unaffordable because of Donald Trump. How many times do we have to talk about the fact that oil prices are lower than they were under Biden? How many times do we have to...
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
When it comes to supplements, 2 things matter most. 1, that it works, and 2, you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, I want to let my audience do it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Mark was in tears from his daily hand joint discomfort, but after a week on Relief Factor, he felt 50% better, and now he barely notices any pain. He is so happy, he says he's spreading the word to everybody he knows. My hands were like Mark's. I couldn't even button my own shirt at times. Like Mark and me, there are so many people getting their life back with Relief Factor. They make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor helped you tackle your daily aches and pain. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Call 1-800-4RELIEF. Get the 3-week quick start, $17.76. 1-800-4RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com. You'll be connected with their friendly local team, and they will do everything they can just to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Trouble-free conditions on the Edens going out the Kennedy. That's a 45-minute trip already. Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare, Eisenhower 55, Post Office to 390. Stevenson is just under an hour to get to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive, half hour on the Dan Ryan outbound, and the Express R tight 31st to Marquette. The Ford slowing with construction outbound 115th down to Sibley, and heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive south and north. Tri-State southbound a medical emergency blocking 2 center lanes at North Avenue. Delays creeping up southbound 355 and eastbound 80, a crash at I-55. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Yes, Squirrel. I know I'm back. I flew into Michelle Obama's underwear drawer. That reciprocal of political skullduggery and fraud. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Can you get it to smell anything other than a dirty underwear drawer? Can somebody, how about that Fabulosa? Can you throw it all over the joint? It's just terrible, Squirrel. Not to mention the plane. And you could see by the look on the faces of the people. Not since I was handcuffed to a prison cell with a bologna sandwich in my hand, waiting for a judge to say, can the defendant please rise? You sit in a bullpen, Squirrel, after you get arrested for a night of just slapping somebody around. So you got to sit in this thing. They call it a holding cell or whatever it is. And everybody looks very depressed because they know if you're in that cell, you got some headaches. You got problems. It's exactly what the plane looked like. And the people who weren't wearing masks. There are still morons out there, still, with the frickin' mask on, the slave plate, which is, I thank them for wearing it. Number one, by the look of the Democrats that are riddled in scandal, like this new bimbo, what's her name, Amy Briel, drugs and dope. She's hitting on other women. That's a rough look there. Looks like an ad for meth, why you should never do it. They're saving a lot of people visual torture by looking at their Democrat faces, but they're also identifying themselves as the people who are responsible for these thieves and these imbeciles and these frauds. Now, should we start locally? Why not? We're on a Chicago bin. When you elect, allegedly, when you put somebody in a representative position, they should understand just basic stuff. You don't have to get real deep. I mean, after all, you're Democrats, and you're really good at nothing except failing and then begging and pretending to be a victim. But here's how money works, morons. When you pay more for something, that's bad. When you pay less for something, that's good. We'll start small, because I'm talking to Chicago Democrat morons.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says he has a plan to bridge Chicago's growing budget gap, but city council members remain skeptical. WGN political editor Taman Bradley is here now with the latest.
City council members.
Good afternoon, Lourdes. This summer, the mayor's budget team projected a 2026 budget shortfall of tens of millions of dollars. The mayor says he's come up with a fix, and his plan does not require city council approval.
Now, before you listen to this simpleton with that faux hawk that he spends $37,000 a year to look stupid like Marvin the Martian, only the faux hawk's a little askew, you frackin' moron. When he was a teacher making $100,000 a year for doing nothing but failing, he couldn't figure out at the end of the month. Let me just factor in a little bit. You know, the family, they like to take showers sometimes, not all the time. They like to take baths occasionally, and they like to drink the water. So I'm going to allocate some of my six-figure salary to pay the water bill on my house. And this bust-out bum, failure, couldn't do it. Thousands of dollars he didn't pay in parking tickets and whatever the hell he did. Bum that he is. Now, he's going to tell you that him and a bunch of asshats that have never worked in their life, first time in their life, they look at the check. What is this? It's a stub? I got a check stub? Because this is the big play. He's feather-bedded the government, City Hall. 9,000 suck-on communist socialists. And they've come up with an idea after a long day of sitting around figuring out who it was that stunk the worst. They came up with a great idea. Here it is. This is all the brain power on the 5th floor of City Hall. You ready, Squirrel? Strap in. It's riveting.
Today, Mayor Brandon Johnson announced a plan to close the 2026 budget gap, and he blasted his city council opponents.
Today, I'm grateful to share that my administration has identified a pathway forward to close the projected $85.1 million budget shortfall.
Close it.
For fiscal year 2026, which was created by members of the corporate caucus.
The mayor plans to refinance.
Members of the corporate caucus. See, he spits out those words. And then the simpletons that never were taught to read by his fellow teachers, never were taught to do math. They go, uh-huh. You know what that means? You frackin' moron. Who built the city, dummy? Socialists and communists or simpletons such as yourself? And the answer is none of the above. Normally, people this stupid live under the city, like the tens of thousands of roaches right now that are existing on the public nipple.
Finance eligible city bonds, which he says would lower overall debt service costs. And if necessary, Mayor Johnson says the city will tap into remaining COVID relief money. Johnson blames the budget shortfall on revenue backed by a rebel group of alders.
From the beginning, our administration warned that this so-called alternative budget relied on speculative, untested revenues that were not guaranteed to.
So he's going to refi the bonds. That's his big play. Going to refi. Just for argument's sake. I don't even have to call my round mound of refi David Hochberg, although I could. And anybody with an IQ over 60 who's ever lived in the real world or understands anything about any kind of money knows that right now, debt is at a 21-year high. Meaning, all debt across the board, for you to go and borrow or refi, you're at about a 21-year high. Now, there may be special deals inside of short-term borrowing where it's not exact, but we're talking about tens of millions, hundreds of millions in debt, and there is no special deal. So he, in essence, is telling you, we're going to close the gap of the money we're lost by paying more in the cost of borrowing that money. Now, who does that make sense to? Anybody out there? Because it doesn't exist. What he's really going to do is figure out if there's any of that welfare cheese from the dimwit in diapers for COVID money. See, if they didn't blow through the $1.9 billion, the 2.7, or the 3.8, because they kept giving it. So much so that 3 phony doctors in Ghetto Loretto Hospital stole $300 million of it, and they walked scot-free. So now he's going to pretend that he's got the magic formula of borrowing money at higher costs, and somehow that's an economic win. And do you know what ghettonomics is, Squirrel? Ghettonomics is this. Because when you refi something, you normally have a 30, 45, 60-day delay in your first payment. That's how you knew, Squirrel. Like all the people, remember when they would borrow the money and they refi and they go and they get a Cadillac Seville. Give me the gold package, baby. And they stop off at Nordstrom Rack. They get themselves some new Zanza belts, some white patent leather shoes, because they didn't have to make 2 mortgage payments, so they thought. And that is the formula for bankruptcy. That's Ghettonomics 101. This is Ghettonomics 101.1.
Materialized. The most glaring example is the alternate group's plan to sell outstanding debt to a third-party collector. That proposal produced $0.
Now, that's not a slam on the alderman that said, let's sell the debt. You know what that's a slam on, don't you, Squirrel? That's a slam on every Democrat in Chicago. Every one of them. You've got banks who could have bought $1 worth of debt for a dime. And they said, I like the dime. Because who would I collect it from? Would I collect it from Chicago Democrats? It ain't worth a penny. They offer was the Michael Corleone. I offer you this. Nothing for your billions of dollars of debt.
The mayor says his team reached out to 20 banks with existing relationships with the city, but no one wanted to buy the debt. Meanwhile, city budget numbers show Mayor Johnson's revenue measures, such as online sports wagering and the social media amusement tax, are overperforming projections. The rebel alders who call them...
So that means you're going down into bankruptcy at a greater velocity than even thought before. Who are the neighborhood road scholars that are losing money on the one-armed bandit thieves? Who are the Rhodes Scholars that are spending more on dope than was anticipated? This is not just ghettonomics. This is bankruptcy in fourth gear.
The Accountability Coalition released a statement saying, in part, we are 8 months into FY26, and Mayor Johnson and his administration have failed to execute the budget as required by law, continuing to slow walk implementing structural revenues and efficiencies designed to reduce our deficit and put Chicago on its best financial footing possible. The debate tees up this fall's budget battle. Last year, Mayor Johnson and City Council broke with tradition and fought about the budget until the end of the year. A council majority passed a plan that stripped out the mayor's proposed corporate head tax. The budget took effect without the mayor's signature. Johnson was asked how he can avoid a repeat of last year.
I think if we center working people in our work, I believe we can actually accomplish great things, much like what we are seeing in the proposals that I put forward.
You'll pay more for everything. Fewer people will exist in the private sector. More businesses will close. Ghettonomics is a pathway to absolute and total destruction. Just ask the Soviets. Ask the Havana Cubans who can't turn on a fracking light bulb. The reality is, there is no philosophy where you can live like a ghetto roach, spend more money without it coming in. It doesn't work. And this is why they're all very arrogant. And yet nobody wants to finance themselves in any Democrat area. It's no better on the coast. In fact, it's almost funnier.
Governor Gavin Newsom has come out with the revised state budget proposal. Revised because the state has a lot more money to spend. The state surplus is now almost $100 billion. Our Josh Haskell tells us what the governor wants to.
This is the year 2022. Now, did she say the word surplus, Squirrel? I could have swore I heard it. Surplus. Now, she doesn't mean where you could buy old boots from Vietnam. She's talking about money, honey. And she said it was $100 billion because Gavin Newsom said it was $100 billion. $100 billion, which is 100,000 millions. That's a lot of money, isn't it, Squirrel? Turns out none of it was true. Not a penny of it.
To do with it.
Relief could be coming to Californians hit hardest by spiraling inflation.
Oh, yeah, that was the Biden inflation. Spiraling inflation. When everybody in 2022 was paying more for everything than they are now. Did you know that, Squirrel? Except taxes on real estate in Democrat areas. There, you were paying less in 2022. Well, don't worry. You will always pay more when Democrats are in charge of your property taxes, unless you hire some of those short-in-the-pants Irish gangsters like Mike Madigan's associates or Ed Burke's constituent associates and all those other frauds who knew they were imploding our city. Because the reality is, fast forward to when somebody said, well, let's do some math on Gavin Newsom's $100 billion surplus. Fast forward 3.5 years.
Well, today we're getting a look at the governor's office projections for the budget for California, and there is a major difference in the budget deficit. Today, the governor's finance department released what they are projecting of a budget deficit of $2.9 billion. That's a...
Whoa. What happened to the $100 billion surplus? $100 billion surplus? $2 billion deficit. Are you sure? Are you sure about the $2 billion? After all, you are Democrats.
Major difference from the legislative analyst's office projections from November that projected a budget deficit close to $18 billion.
Oh, wrong again. That's a $120 billion swing. Where'd the money go?
Well, you're the first student. Come on board in one of California's great clean and green new electric buses. Because of state investments, we are leading the nation in converting the old, dirty buses to safer, cleaner, and healthier transportation for our kids. Because our kids deserve it, particularly as they come back to school. Welcome back.
Always in the name of the kids, like the Chicago kids. They deserve to read and do math. None of them can do it. And the government can never afford for them to do it. Because if you can read and do math, you'll be like a California constituent who said, didn't he just say $100 billion surplus? How in the frack is it $20 billion deficit? Because they steal the money. But you get an electric bus, and maybe somebody can find Kamala Harris's underwear from 1984. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you retired or getting ready to retire and concerned about taxes eating away at the money you worked so hard to earn and save? What if you could keep more of your retirement income instead of sending more of it to Taxation Uncle Sam? David Dewar, president of Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, specializes in helping you identify opportunities to potentially reduce taxes, maximize retirement income, and protect your financial future. Schedule your free financial analysis by visiting taxfreeretirementsolutions.com. David provides solutions for pension alternatives, Social Security income optimization, guaranteed lifetime income with no stock market risk, life and health insurance savings, and tax-free retirement strategies. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep from Uncle Sam in taxes. Call David Dewar today at 708-369-1153 or visit taxfreeretirementsolutions.com to schedule your free comprehensive financial analysis.
Hi, this is Dave Dewar, aka Patriotic Uncle Sam, and make sure to stop by our table at this year's Shaun Fest for a free raffle and to get your free American flag. See you there.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
Oh, I forgot all about it.
You forgot?
You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks, security under your control.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know what also excites me, among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
And her mother used to say, I sent you to school with underwear on, tramp! Where's the underwear? You scumbags.
Well, you're the first student. Come on board in one of California's great clean and green new electric buses. Because of state investments, we are leading the nation in converting the old.
How much did you invest? Because I could have swore there was a lot of...
Governor Gavin Newsom has come out with the revised state budget proposal. Revised because the state has a lot more money to spend. The state surplus is now almost $100 billion. Our Josh Haskell...
And then, what we're going to do, $100 billion, we're going to order school buses.
Well, today we're getting a look at the governor's office projections for the budget for California, and there is a major difference in the budget deficit. Today, the governor's finance department released what they are projecting of a budget deficit of $2.9 billion. That's a major difference from the legislative analyst's office projections from November that projected a budget deficit close to $18 billion.
After the first $80 billion, do you really even count anymore? Morons. Kevin, Vegas.
Shaun, that is some serious Enron math with Newsom there, isn't it? I mean, it is. It's hilarious. So we have $100 billion surplus. So they spend that money immediately. That money's gone in the wind. And it's 3 years later? Well, we're $40 billion in the hole. That is how they take a state budget. Gavin Newsom took California's state budget from $207 billion to $350 in 7 years while gaining no population.
Now do Illinois.
I mean,
you got to drop a zero. He doubled the budget, lost 200 businesses, profitable businesses a year, from big to medium to small, every year since he's been governor, J.B. Pritzker. All right? Doubled the budget, and what do you get for it? You get shot in the forehead if you walk into the wrong area. These are scum who steal money. It's an illusion. Any business that they ran, they'd go to prison. And Brandon Johnson, let's pretend it's a board meeting. And he says to you, I figured out how we're gonna solve this problem. We're a little cash light. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna refi the debt. Wait a minute, you mean you're gonna refi the debt we're paying 3%? Now you're gonna pay 7%? Yeah, it's gonna save us money because we get 2 months free. You want to talk about ghetto-nomics. That's living low in the ghetto. By the way, why don't we walk around with Louis Vuitton purses and I'll go on a payment plan for the water bill. That's what you get when you hire these bust-out scumbags. Thank you very much. That's how you do. That's the math. Don't be mad at me. This is just how it works in Ghettoville. Don't worry. It's the same. They just got to come up with a new idea. They're going to sell it to you. You're going to love it.
I was out there promoting a $33 billion project. I was out there promoting ridership that was 55% higher than the current projected ridership. I was there promoting a third of the money coming from the private sector, 25 to 33% from the federal government. I was out there promoting the fact that this would generate revenue and not cost taxpayers a subsidy. I was out there promoting it. And none of those things now are taking shape. It's a $68+ billion project. They just announced 2 months ago, went up another billion just for this new 130-mile first phase. It started with $33 billion. It went to 96. We value engineered it, so it's no longer quote unquote high speed rail. It's higher speed rail. We wildly overstated the ridership projections. We manipulated some of the revenue projections. There's only one true high-speed rail system in the world that generates real profit. I thought there were two. And I remember when President of France was here a few months ago, I complimented him on being one of the two, and he laughed, and his ministers laughed. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, don't believe what you read about us generating profits on our high-speed rail. The only one is Osaka that generates, and that's a different kind of concentration, urban concentration. So this is going to be a subsidy. The bonds you double the cost of the bonds is the actual cost to the taxpayers of repaying them. I mean, it's a burden, politically speaking, candidly. I was there with.
You know what that's called in the private sector, Squirrel? That's a confession. A confession! And do you know who it matters to who votes Democrats, who was on my plane this morning with their fracking mask on? The slave plate! You know what it matters to them? Guts on Gould! They don't give a frack. Do you feel good? Do you feel good about high-speed rail and electric buses? Are you jealous because you're ugly, you're stupid, you can't make any money, and you want to take somebody else's money, so you're going to look for any excuse in the world?
You know what also excites me? Among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
You're not smart enough to be a valet in a bathroom. And she came within a breath of being the president of the United States because we're surrounded by morons. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Summer in Chicago, and if you don't want to spend it painting, join your neighbors and call Rhino Shield.
It looks amazing. It looks like a Teflon coating on there.
We're very excited that we don't ever have to paint again.
We chose it because of the fact that we saw a house that had done it, and I just went, that's something I'd like to have done to my house.
Rhino Shield ceramic technology is formulated specifically for our unique climate right here in Chicago and stands up to our extreme temperature swings.
I would highly recommend Rhino Shield. You can't beat the 25-year transferable warranty, by the way.
Let me put it this way. I haven't had any complaints. And as the president of the association, that's the best part.
All right, Chicago, it's time you join your neighbors and get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
For anybody that's skeptical about putting Rhino Shield on your house, take a real close look at it. The warranty, 25 years, is something that I just don't think you can beat.
This offer is for a limited time, so call now, 847-850-1132 or ChicagoRhinoShield.com.
Go Rhino Shield.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
I haven't heard these two words in a long time, Squirrel. Last call for registration for Shaun Fest. That's why I'm in town. Can't wait to see everybody. It's happening this Friday at the Westin in Itasca, Lakeside Pavilion right behind it. And all you have to do, it is free of charge. There's no charge. Just go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. That's 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest to register to be there. I still got people, it's squirreling. Melrose Parkers, Elmwood Parkers, they don't listen very well. They're not very good at the listening. Can you get me tickets? I don't have to get you tickets. There's no charge. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Now, we've been very, very, thank God, thank you and all of our advertisers. Everything has gone well. We've got a lot of people. So register because, who knows what's going to happen. More show up at the door, but register now. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. And you're going to be there with me and Squirrel, Honey Bunny, and everybody that makes this show possible, including other great listeners trapped in these Democrat fiefdoms, in these enclaves, voiceless, as they're abused by who is said to be the representatives, but in the meantime, they're in Springfield smoking crack and hitting on their own same-sex workers in their office like that other sick bimbo. It's going to be a blast, not to mention the people who are still in business under totalitarian conditions, still surviving, doing the right thing for them, their family, and all of you. Still providing services, still providing goods, like all of our advertisers, and helping you sell some goods, like Donley. Donley Auctions will be there. We've got Arlington Pipe and Tobacco, because if you're here, you're going to need some tobacco. They're going to be there, wonderful people. Not to mention Virago. Oh, one thing, you look around at these ugly bastards, they got to have germs, pestilence and whatnot. You catch it from them. Virago will help your immune system fight it off. Dr. Huber, leaving i-l.com, clearly listens to my show, took the idea and made an entire business out of it. Fantastic broker, help you move from here to wherever you want to go. State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto, wonderful. The example really like TJ. These are two young guys who said, I'm going to help people. I'm going to help them, and I'm going to make a good living. Anthony DeGrotto is going to be great. He's got a little, I understand he's got a game that'll be there at Shaun Fest. And unique wooden flags. Says right there. Primarily American flags, but unique wooden flags, all kinds of flags, everything you need. Class A insurance owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. Family-owned business. Not only that. Family-owned business because he carved it out of his own hard work. Tommy did, and he's handing it over to TJ. They have a tremendous amount of insurance companies in Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois that they can pick from to lower your monthly costs so you can be robbed on other taxations in Democrat areas. When we get back, 312-642-5600. We'll take your calls and comments. I know it's filling up. Cindy, you'll be first. That'll be after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, watch out for a late afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 84. Authorities say 7 people were hospitalized early this morning, 2 critically, following a crash involving a semi and a van in Bridgeview. The crash unfolded at around 4 a.m. near West 71st and Harlem Avenue. NIPSCO says it hopes to have power restored in northwest Indiana to all customers this morning, more than 2 weeks after severe storms caused widespread outages across the region. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office working to identify more than 50 decomposing bodies found this month at a Chicago funeral home. The bodies uncovered August 8th at the South Chicago Chapel. At least 47 bodies have now been identified. Cubs try and salvage their series in Arizona, while the White Sox look for a series win against Texas. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. Bring your gold or silver in-store today. Each item priced right in front of you. Coins never leave your sight. Receive cash or a check right on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. Next news at 5. News, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the afternoon commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jill Urchek.
It's okay if you're going outbound on the Edens, the Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, 55 minutes. It is tight in the express lanes, Ohio to Montrose. Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post Office out to 390, Stevenson 55 minutes, DuSable Lakeshore Drive out to 355. Going out on the Dan Ryan at 35 to get to 95th, the express lanes are tight. 31st out to Marquette and heavy outbound 57, Ryan down to 127. You will be tied up in a roadwork delay on the outbound 4 to 115th, down to 159. DuSable Lakeshore Drive remains jammed either way. Tri-State delays both directions. Southbound medical emergency in the right lane at North Avenue. The Jane Addams, not bad. Eastbound Reagan and southbound 355, those remain sluggish. Eastbound I-80 at I-55, crash cleared. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
Labor Day celebrates fair wages, reasonable hours, and big savings on beauty rest at Hassellus Mattress. Through Labor Day, Hassellus will give you $200 off and a $100 rewards cash card, plus free next day delivery and removal of your old mattress, plus a free adjustable base with the purchase of any Beauty Rest world-class mattress. Save big on beauty rest now through Labor Day at Hassellus Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Boy, you're taking it up a notch, huh, kid? Don't worry. I'm not going to run in the next room and yell at you. Before we jump onto the Canadian, our sissy cousin Ruprecht, known as Canada, and those morons that run it, it's some good stuff, Squirrel. The more they talk, the funnier it is, not just because of that moron accent they have. Let's go to the lines. Look at this. Cindy's been listening a long time. Cindy, how are you?
I have. Honey, I'm great. And I was just, I have listened to you on all dials with every kind of host, and I wanted to wish you a happy 10th anniversary today. Because it was the first time that you filled in with Dan. And oh my gosh, we all loved it. We all called in. Everybody was so excited.
Yep.
And I will remind you, which I'm sure you know, and I won't keep you because you have to get on to your Fabian socialism things. But I do want to say, you ended the show, and Dan was such a good sport, and he actually smiled and laughed for a change. And it was the robotic brothel. And you were just hilarious on that.
Oh, I'm still going to open that up. Are you kidding me? It's going to be dreams.
I swear.
That's the dream of everyone. Are you not? I can't wait for that Tesla robot with cleavage. Are you nuts? That's the minute the old lady gets the pink slip. When they deliver that, see you later. You know, we got my poor Honey Bunny, her fiance figured out he's just marrying his nurse.
The engagement ring, you save all the money.
Oh.
You don't have anybody griping.
Never a complaint.
You know, take it. Never complain.
Never complain. No menopause. No robot menopause. What the hell's menopause? Nobody put that in the brochure. Jeez. Yeah.
But I just want to call you quickly and just on a happier note say happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And you just you made everybody's day that day because everybody wanted to see what you look like. And all that, and it was just fantastic.
Thank you, Cindy. You made my day. I appreciate that. Thank you. Are you coming on Friday?
All right.
Or are you busy?
You know what? I'm busy. I'm sorry. I got a new puppy. I talked to your screener. I have a new puppy.
Well, bring that handsome. Did you get a boy? You get a boy, puppy. No more girls. Got enough girls in the house. Did you get a boy?
I don't like when they lift their leg to go pee-pee in the house. I'm sorry. I got a girl. I'm sorry.
Yeah, first thing you did, you probably made the husband sit down, too. I had a friend like that. His wife made him sit down. You're not a man!
But she's a real girl, you know? You know what I mean? She is a girl.
I hear you.
And her name...
Name her Kamala. She'll lick everything. Go ahead.
And last thing, her name is Pipsqueak.
Oh, I like that. Really? I got a cousin named that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you, Shaun. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't that sweet? Glenn in Orlando.
Shaun, Governor Stupidface in Minnesota, when he took office, he had an $18 billion surplus. Now they're in the red, and that state has only got about 5.5 million people. Where did the money go?
Do you know why they called Babyface, right? Because he looked too innocent. He didn't look like a criminal or, and he'd walk in a room, people be like, oh, look at this kid. That's the perfect shield, the perfect fraud for Governor Stupidface, right? He looks too stupid to have orchestrated plots, to have stolen $18 billion to specifically Somalians, but not exclusively, by running that fraud scam he's got. Now he just loses money. And he looks dumb enough. What are you going to do? I mean, you start off, he's a Democrat. You grade all these moron Democrats on a curve. First thing somebody thinks when someone says they're a Democrat, oh, boy, this is a moron. Secondly, you expect them to fail and lose. He looks so stupid, like Babyface looks so young, you wouldn't think he's just a crook. I like the way you put things together, kid. Thank you, Glenn. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Good afternoon, Shaun. Yeah, I heard on Chris Plant's show today that they're thinking about canceling the state fair because of those Somali games in Minnesota. So they need to move from Minnesota to Dallas if they don't want that.
Dude, it's very short-sighted. I think they're missing an opportunity. Same thing with the ghetto that used to be our city of Chicago. You don't ban things. You film that stuff and you sell it.
Sure.
Fill it. I want the Somalian. Do they have Somalians that weigh more than 120 pounds? I'd like to put $5 on the fat Somalians against the skinny Somalians. I say we throw pickaxes in there and let's have a day of it. Let's make some fun out of it. I mean, after all, they're destroying the quality of life. You might as well laugh, cry a little bit, and stay away. One thing you do is you stay away. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, keep an open mind. A fiduciary with a faux hawk and a plan could be the way to go for Chicago.
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to ask him to spell it. If he can give you the definition of what a fiduciary is and understand it, we won't have to deal with him. He'll understand Harry Carey was not just a great baseball announcer. Nobody who really understands what a fiduciary is. Nobody could ever be a politician who is a fiduciary. It's completely impossible to do. Now, people say I play this because I now live in the free greatest state in the country. I don't. This is from New Jersey. We have a tremendous amount of New Jersey listeners, Squirrel. I think somebody's coming from New Jersey, one or three, or I can't remember. We've got people coming from New Jersey because we're all in the same pickle. The only thing that's different, really, a little bit of the accent and the pizza crust. That's it. Now, they are suffering under the same problems. I want you to listen to this New Jersey politician explain it and tell me he could be talking about Massachusetts. He could be talking about Illinois. He could be talking about California. But one thing's for sure, wherever these Democrat thieves pretend to be representatives.
Here's a number that should make every young family in New Jersey stop and think. A young family buying a $450,000 home in New Jersey will pay roughly $10,890 a year in property taxes alone. The same home in Florida, approximately $3,600. That's $7,290 more every single year for as long as they own that house.
At least.
And that's before New Jersey's income tax, before the automatic toll increases, before the New Jersey Transit fare hikes that went up again on July 1st. No vote required. A $150,000 earner with that $450,000 home in New Jersey pays roughly $21,350 a year in state and local taxes combined. The same person in Florida, $4,300. That's a difference of $17,000
Sizzler!
Every year.
We're going to Sizzler.
New Jersey already has the highest property taxes in America, the worst in the nation. This summer, Trenton passed a record $60.75 billion budget with $800 million in new taxes. And the programs that were supposed to help offset the property tax burden, Anchor, Stay NJ, the senior relief programs, they were all cut. Meanwhile, New Jersey was named the worst state in America to retire for the second year in a row. And 111,000 peak earning residents left New Jersey last year, spanning 20 of 21 counties. They did the math and they moved. I'm Assemblyman Mike Ganamort. New Jersey side by side with Florida. The numbers don't lie, even when Trenton does. Subscribe for more.
Wasn't Basileone from there? You remember Basileone in the Second World War? Well, oh, what if that's who Rambo really was? Or maybe it was New York. But I'll tell you one thing, as I was listening to that New Jersey Congress wannabe or politician, decent guy running, and he's talking about the difference. Do you know what all of those numbers that he was slamming New Jersey would be for Illinois? Do you know what it would be, Squirrel? An improvement. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and last year I hired Level 10 Coatings to give my garage floor a total makeover, and I am loving it. It still looks great, shiny, and clean. Level 10 Coatings. Now, you've got to call these guys if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt. Don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny, new, gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix, and it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job. It's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com, or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Near the end of the Revolutionary War, George Washington received a letter from one of his own officers. Colonel Lewis Nicola suggested that America might be better served by a monarchy, with Washington himself as king. Washington firmly rejected the idea. He had spent years leading Americans in a fight for independence from a monarchy. He would not see that victory end with America creating a king of its own. He understood that the cause of the revolution was greater than any one man. His example reminds us that power can be offered, earned, or taken. But character determines whether we use it for ourselves or remain faithful to something greater.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. At Chicago Atlantic, success depends on experience, responsiveness, attention to detail, and an entrepreneurial mindset. That's exactly what we found with Signature. Their team understands how we operate, supports our growth, and delivers the kind of personal service that's increasingly rare in banking today. And that's exactly why we bank with Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
AM 560. The
Sometimes I forget how young everybody else is and how so many of the kids that go through our school system are taught to hate the country and hate America and hate righteousness and root for the scum frauds who keep telling them utopia's around the corner if they could just steal everybody's money and buy Brioni suits and get stupid hairdos like Brandon Johnson. So I was talking before the break during the segment about Bassileone, and I couldn't remember if he was from New Jersey. He might be from New York, but I asked Squirrel, I said, John Bassileone. He looked at me like, nah, I don't know. So there's one thing to not understand some of the nuances about what our country is, but what we did with our own history in World War II really was to fight back the kind of corruption, lies, fraud, and tyranny that we face right now in our own country. And we went into World War II, two-front war, and one front being all of Europe and Japan. And we like to say we kicked ass. Well, we didn't do anything, but Marines, Army veterans, Navy veterans, they did, individuals. And you should know about the standouts. Now, everybody in New York knows this name, but now Squirrel's going to know it.
America turned him into a celebrity. He hated every second of it. When they offered him a ceremony with the president himself, he said no. He wanted it presented in the mud, with his own men. His name was John Bassileone, the sixth of 10 children in an Italian-American family from Raritan, New Jersey. He dropped out of school after the 8th grade to caddy at a golf course, then spent 3 years in the Army in the Philippines, where he became a champion boxer they called Manila John. He came home, drove a truck for a while, and in 1940 enlisted in the Marine Corps instead. He wanted a real fight, not another posting. He got one. On the night of October 24, 1942, Bassileone was commanding 2 machine gun sections holding a narrow jungle pass on Guadalcanal when a Japanese regiment 3,000 strong attacked his line. One of his gun crews was wiped out. Bassileone grabbed 90 pounds of ammunition and ran 200 yards through open fire to reach them, killing enemy soldiers with his pistol along the way. He lost his gloves in the fighting and kept firing anyway, the machine gun barrel scalding his bare hands. Japanese bodies piled up so fast in front of his position that he had to climb out and shove them aside just to keep a clear line of fire. When his ammunition finally ran out, he held the line alone with a pistol and a machete, killing 38 men by the time reinforcements arrived.
Are you nuts?
By the time the Japanese called off the attack, roughly 1,500 of their soldiers lay dead along the line, their bodies stretching for half a mile. A wounded Marine named Nash Phillips said Bassileone came to check on him afterward, barefoot, face black with soot, eyes red as fire, a .45 still tucked in his waistband. "I'll never forget him," Phillips said. When Bassileone received the Medal of Honor, he said flatly, "Only part of this medal belongs to me. Pieces of it belong to the boys who are still on Guadalcanal." The Marine Corps offered him a commission and a safe desk job in Washington for the rest of the war. He turned it down cold. "I ain't no officer, and I ain't no museum piece," he said. "I belong back with my outfit." Before that, they'd paraded him through his own hometown, thousands of people lining the streets, his face in Life magazine, sent out across the country to sell war bonds like a mascot. He got his wish to leave it behind, married Lena Riggi, a Marine Corps sergeant herself, and shipped out to Iwo Jima, where on the very first day of the invasion, he single-handedly destroyed a Japanese blockhouse and guided a trapped tank to safety through a minefield under fire. He was killed by enemy shellfire that same afternoon. He was 28. If this is the kind of story you think more people
Now, I want you to understand something. He was 28. Did the bulk of his fighting in his mid-20s. He was fighting the very socialism, the very communism, the very Marxism, the very corrupt governments we pretend is a party. We pretend has a plan or a philosophy. He was fighting Barack Obama. He was fighting Joe Biden. He was fighting Brandon Johnson. He was fighting Mondamne, Newsom, and every other Democrat rat like Pritzker. That's who he was fighting. And at 28 years old, he had accomplished more than Marines still fantasize about killing that many enemies to America. They still dream about it. And John Bassileone never said, "Can somebody pay my rent? And can I get free health care? Can somebody buy me dinner? That's the difference between character and 2026 American Democrat fiefdoms and the people who occupy them.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. If you're helping a parent or loved one move into senior living, you're dealing with a lot right now. Finding the right location, coordinating the move, managing their care, and then there's the house, often filled with decades of belongings and memories. The last thing you need is months of repairs, showings, and uncertainty about when it will actually sell. Here's how our veteran-led team helps. We listen to your needs first. Flexible closing date? We can do that. Extra time to sort through everything at your own pace? That works too. You keep what matters, family photos, heirlooms, whatever has meaning, and we handle the rest. For nearly 20 years, we've earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by treating families with patience and respect during life's transitions. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
My next guest is a brilliant and fantastic lawyer, and I'm not just saying that because he was very close to representing me. I'm saying that because his company that he works for, his foundation that he represents, where he is a vice president, is arguably, if not the, one of the best legal foundations in America today. Michael J. O'Neill serves as the vice president of Landmark Legal Foundation. He'll join us to discuss everything from ballots to the settlement from Meta and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Watch out for a late afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 84. Massive flash flooding in Nepal has killed at least 22, 384 tourists, including 291 from countries like India, the U.S. and U.K. are reported missing. Flags across the country are flying at half-staff in honor of Dolly Parton. The president made the order, calling her death a true loss for millions. Authorities say 7 were hospitalized early this morning following a crash involving a semi and a van in Bridgeview near 71st and South Harlem Avenue. Harlem Avenue remained closed for several hours. 2 are dead from the measles in Pennsylvania, the first measles-related deaths in Pennsylvania in 35 years. Measles cases continue to climb in Wisconsin. That number stands at 61. The Cubs try and salvage a series in Arizona White Sox battle the Rangers. Bears practice with the Titans tomorrow in Nashville and wrap up exhibition play on Saturday. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. Marvin replacement windows and doors can bring your backyard right into your living space, making it seem brighter and more spacious. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your consultation. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing lower with the Dow snapping a 3-session winning streak after the personal consumption expenditures index for July revealed that inflation was a bit hotter than expected. Investors remain cautious ahead of Fed Chair Kevin Warsh's Jackson Hole speech on Friday. The Dow down 114 points, NASDAQ lower by 21, S&P 500 down 2. Shares of Meta Platforms rose 1% after the social media company reached a proposed settlement over a lawsuit brought by states alleging that the company's social media platforms harmed children. Meta agreeing to pay up to $18 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms. After the bell, NVIDIA reported better than expected second quarter results and delivered an earnings and revenue beat and issued revenue guidance that topped estimates, and its stock is wavering after hours. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Freedom Summit Chicago returns to the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca on Saturday, October 10th. Headlined by investigative journalist James O'Keefe and former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. They'll be joined by Dan Proft, Shaun Thompson, Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Open Tax Advocates and attorney Stephen Leahy.
When it comes to supplements, two things matter most. One, that it works, and two, you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, I want to let my audience do it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Mark was in tears from his daily hand joint discomfort, but after a week on Relief Factor, he felt 50% better, and now he barely notices any pain. He is so happy, he says he's spreading the word to everybody he knows. My hands were like Mark's. I couldn't even button my own shirt at times. Like Mark and me, there are so many people getting their life back with Relief Factor. They make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor helped you tackle your daily aches and pain. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Call 1-800-4RELIEF. Get the 3-week quick start, $17.76. 1-800-4RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com. You'll be connected with their friendly local team, and they will do everything they can just to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us.
I know you've heard the line, we're on a mission from God. Here in Chicago, that means something. But for me, it's real. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I'm on a mission from God to help business owners achieve their American dream. Because every day I see the same thing. Unfiled returns, confusing numbers, IRS letters stacking up. Not because business owners are doing anything wrong, but because they're overwhelmed. Here's what I've learned after helping hundreds of business owners. There is always a solution, but you can't reach it until you take control. That's why I built a system to take you from chaos to control. Go to fightbacknow.com and get started. I'll show you exactly what to do, step by step. No guessing, no confusion, just a clear path forward. Go to fightbacknow.com and I'll send you my new book, Fight Back Now, Freedom Through Preparation. Just cover the shipping. I'll take care of the rest. Or if you want to talk to someone right now, call 312-664-6649. Fightbacknow.com, because chaos is the only thing standing in your way.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Outbound Edens, 20 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook Road, the Kennedy, an hour. Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare. In the Eisenhower, 1 hour and 10. Post Office to 390. Stevenson is an hour. Due Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Dan Ryan out 30. Slowing in the Express, 31st out to Marquette. Northbound 57. Watch out for an accident at Kedzie and roadwork delays up on Ford. 115th to 159th. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in the Tri-State either way. Jane Addams looks good. You will see delays eastbound Reagan as well as southbound on 355 as well. Northbound Route 53 slowing Eisenhower to Euclid and westbound 80 jam breaks to Larkin. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays Hail to the Chief, ooh, they point the cannon at you. No, it ain't me.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Then key states were shut down for 4 hours, and people wanted you to believe that the dimwit in diapers who could barely get through a sentence without soiling his trousers received a record-setting amount of votes in American history. 16 million more votes than the Duchess of Chaffington, known as Hillary Clinton, and 12 million more than that silver-tongued devil Barack Hussein. Yes, we can hope and change Obama. I say never. They stole it, and we're from Chicago where they brag about stealing elections. My next guest, however, fights for America from the principle of its law. He's like the spotted owl, a lawyer who wants the law to be the shield of the citizen versus the spear of the government. He serves as the vice president for legal affairs at Landmark Legal Foundation, the most important legal foundation organization in America today. Michael J. O'Neill, how are you, handsome?
I'm great. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm celebrating a little bit, but, you know, this is what happens when your standards are low, right? It's like a battered housewife. When your husband comes home and doesn't punch you in the face, you think it's going to be a good night. So, do I celebrate the Supreme Court Justice mail-in ballot, or is it just recognizing that, yeah, they stole the presidential election and probably Senate seats, congressional seats, and everything else?
Well, a couple things. I think we can celebrate that, but let's temper this, unfortunately, is that the mail ballot regulation that was finalized and published in the Federal Register today has been immediately challenged in, surprise, surprise, the exact same court up in Massachusetts that initially entered the injunction prohibiting the executive order that the Supreme Court was forced to rule on. So
was it the same lawyers? Was it that guy who looks like a thumb?
Yeah.
Or a
it's the same. It's the same cast of characters. It's the same court. We knew this was going to happen. What we had here, what the Supreme Court did from a principle standpoint, was correct and was the proper way. You have to approve of the process, and what the Supreme Court did was recognize the simple fact that an executive order directing administrative agencies to do something is not an injury. There's no injurious effort. There's nothing. There's no final action subject to challenge. You know, we always are talking about. You and I have had this conversation extensively about standing. That there has to be an actual cognizable injury.
Yes,
and of course, what the Supreme Court recognized was that all the president's executive order did was direct administrative agencies to do things. It directed the U.S. Postal Service to issue a rule about mail ballots, taking steps to enhance security regarding mail ballots. And we can talk about that in a second. It also, the executive order also directed the Department of Justice to prioritize prosecutions of individuals or states that abet illegal or improper, fraudulent mail ballot voting, and also it also prioritized the security of mail voting. It recognized that mail voting is an insecure process. So there wasn't any final action, administrative action under the executive order, and the court recognized that. 6 of the justices did that, but. Look at the problems beforehand. You had an injunction in place on an executive order. This is intruding on the power of the president to administer his agency, to effectually function as the president of the United States. So that was why it was abhorrent. Now we can get into the substance of the mail ballot rule, and this is again a necessary rule that's promulgated by the Postal Service that increases security of mail ballots. What does it do? It simply requires that you have a tracking code and a stamp on mail ballots. And it also requires that the U.S. Postal Service compile lists of eligible citizens and shares those lists with states so that they can ensure that their mail ballot lists that they're sending mail ballots out to have eligible voters. Of course, that's not enough. The left has of course, instituted an immediate challenge to that rule.
So 2 things that I want to touch upon. I think it's very important. Yeah. Minnesota voted last week to let dead people remain on the voter rolls, not take off. The motion was put forward to remove dead Minnesotans from the voter rolls, and the state reps voted to not remove them. That's number 1. Number 2, I have a story I played yesterday of 6 post office workers that were convicted or were indicted and proven to have stolen $23 million in 8 months. So you see where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. Thieves cannot govern themselves, and they cannot be trusted. So what you're going to tell me is that's federalism. And if you get enough crooks, and keep in mind I'm from Illinois, enough scallywags, they can technically carve out a legal pathway to have always and forever the hanging chad of fraud in our voting system, can't they?
Well, I think what you're seeing is a committed cabal of organizations and abetted by judges that are not interested in effectuating any reasonable measures to protect the sanctity of the vote. I mean, you're seeing it at every single effort, no matter how reasonable that certain states, again, some states try to institute reasonable protections. Arizona, for example, is doing this just right now. There's a case in front of the Supreme Court, Mi Familia Vota, involves Arizona's reasonable measures to identify and remove non-citizens from its voting rolls, and it's been challenged. So no matter how reasonable a protection it is, and then when the federal government, when President Trump takes reasonable administrative measures to protect mail votes. He understands, look, the Save America Act, we've all talked about that ad nauseum. We want that to go through. It hasn't gone through. But the president does have some executive authority in this. He has some capacity to, and the U.S. Postal Service does have some authority here, some statutory authority. They can demand that bar tracking codes are placed on envelopes for the holding mail ballots. They can mandate that a stamp, a obvious stamp saying official mail vote, be placed on those envelopes to protect, again, to offer some sort of limited protection. And of course, these efforts are all challenged immediately, no matter how reasonable, by groups, by organizations, by people who are not interested in having a secure and fair voting process. They want chaos to reign in this process. This is, again, what you were talking about before, what we were playing before, the number of votes that were cast in the 2020 election. It's not a coincidence that the COVID emergency was used as the cause to implement all of these mail voting regimes throughout the country, because the left understands the more chaos you have, the more mail voting, which is an inherently risky process, the more prevalent that is, the more you can manipulate the system. And we saw that in 2020. We saw that in 2024. We'll see it in 2026. We saw it in California, right? In California with the mayoral and gubernatorial primaries just a few months ago.
Shocking.
And you understand that this is the process. It's not a coincidence that any measure, no matter how reasonable, that anybody undertakes to secure voting in this country is met with the most vigorous and vehement opposition. And again, it's sophisticated parties. We're not talking about dummies who are launching these challenges. We're talking about sophisticated parties who know exactly what courts to bring these challenges in to get these measures set aside.
the issue of the destruction of the character of America coincides with the massive influx in debt, and what we've lived through these last 17 years, 18 years, is areas that benefit greatly from stealing elections, from policies of debt created in order to bail them out. COVID was the greatest example of all, but it continues, and now these areas are ran through the COVID money. So they need more thievery, more failure, more policy. And, this is something that they keep you focused on the micro so that you miss the macro. And the macro is the real issue at hand. We have a system that not only doesn't penalize these areas, in fact, it rewards them. And every one of these areas we discuss, California took what they said by their own words. In 2022, they had a $97 billion surplus. Now they have an $18 billion deficit. They've squandered the money. I've got cuts of Gavin Newsom bragging about how he was selling high-speed rail in 2014. He didn't even know what the frack it was. They lied about the numbers, and the money has quadrupled since then. Minnesota is a prime example. The money that has been stolen there could be 80% of the $19 billion that was allocated towards funding for seniors, for babies, for food, for all kinds of things.
Right.
And even though we have this evidence, and we're arguing about the micro, the ballots, well, of course they steal it. Hello, they've been bragging about it for years. What can we do on the macro level? And to me, it has to be that Donald Trump is the only one that can do it, is to tie the bailout of the welfare thievery states like Illinois, like New Jersey, like New York, like California and Minnesota specifically, and just say, we're not going to give you the money. We believe you stole the money. We stole the elections. We believe you now have used your judges that you've articulated. And you and I've played the judges. 3 separate female judges in Minnesota vacated verdicts that were guilty after being adjudicated by a jury of their peers. And they threw them out. And they overturned Somalians. We've got Somalians that are given bail and they go back to Somalia and we have to hunt them down. So at a certain level, you have to stop the money because you can't have crooks enforce law, even if you give them a robe. Like I said, I'm from Chicago. You can't do it. So what do you do? And the only thing that we can do is the money, because ultimately one of the responsibilities of the president, as the president, isn't to just manage the laws. It's also to oversee that we're not being robbed. Can he stop sending the money? Because these states all are running a Ponzi scheme that would make Enron blush. Just stop sending the money.
Withholding, there's some conditional powers that he has to withhold federal funds in absence of compliance with federal authority. And I think that's a reasonable tool. Also, one other thing I want to add is the immigration system, too. The president has a lot of powers regarding immigration. And I think you've seen those largely been affirmed by the Supreme Court repeatedly. When it comes to withholding, removing TPS status, the court said, yes, the president has this authority. Designating, removing, again, refugee status. Enforcing our nation's immigration laws. The president has a lot of power under the Alien Enemies Act, right? He has power to identify, designate international terrorist organizations and remove those individuals who are members of that. So you've seen that affirmed. And I think, and you're also seeing, additional measures here. I think right now the administration says they have canceled all visas into this country. I think the H-1B visa program is rife with fraud. I think there's another program I think I've talked about briefly on your show called the Optional Practical Training Program, which allows students in F-1 visas to enroll in jobs post-completion in certain jobs programs in the United States post-graduation. That's rife with fraud. You're seeing it in every one of these programs. And what you're talking about, Medicare, Medicaid, rife with fraud. The amount of fraud is just truly astounding. I think designating prioritizing prosecutions of fraud in the federal system is necessary. I think you have the vice president who's head of a fraud task force who's been tasked with rooting out this fraud. Of course, you don't get any help from Congress. You don't get any codification of the DOJ recommendations. You don't get any reforms. You're talking about big picture stuff. And we've talked about this probably before. You don't get any serious measures to reform Social Security or Medicare, which is necessary, which, of course, we're facing a cliff on that in 2034, to actually try to address the fiscal cliff we're all falling towards. But I've kind of given up on that. Where I'm kind of hopeful for is identification of the fraud. This is the low-hanging fruit. You've identified, just in talking to me, several, tens and hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud. that's a good start, right? Let's start there and then see if we can work our way back.
And, you know, we are living, and we have been for many years, a cold civil war. There's no question about it in the country. And when I watch the almost the arrogant bragging of getting away with crime by Ellis in Minnesota as he is trying to sue Texas to extradite an ICE agent, and Abbott says we're not going to do it. I'm going to tell you, I go back and forth a lot. I deal with a lot of people who are in the South. I think it's really getting to a boiling point where it's been overwhelming evidence that these states that are run by these thieves, specifically Minnesota, Illinois, California, New York, are violating the agreement of any kind of civilized republic. And at a certain point, I wonder how you think it's going to play out if they get away with it in these states. And Ileana Omar is at the root of a tremendous amount of this. She's proven to have frauded her own immigration paperwork to marry the brother to the rest of it. I mean, there are people getting arrested. I just have
By the way, I think she's actually under federal investigation right now.
Absolutely. So, and we're to the point people want to see these people arrested. That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, that's I see that too as well. I mean, there's certain frustrations from the law-abiding people in our country that saying, where's the accountability here? And again, I share those frustrations at certain points. I think we've talked about the Fauci situation and the lack of accountability there, and then other individuals who seem to be implicated in some of this endeavors that we're talking about. But again, it would go a long way if we could see some actual accountability, some indictments of some of these folks.
And
I'm with you there.
I love Blanche. I do. I mean, I think for a guy who's never been in this position, he has indicted. He has orchestrated more arrests in a shorter period of time than anybody in my recent memory. And there's a lot going on with COVID. We've got a state rep in Massachusetts was picked up this morning. You got a mayor that was arrested. He thought he was going to get away with it because the reality is they have the perfect scam, Michael. They have these little fiefdoms, and people get used to it, right? Like my very own. Mm-hmm. In Chicago, you get used to it. Everybody knows it's a scam. You got the feather-bedded jobs. You got the ghost jobs. You got the that. But ultimately, the Lone Ranger or the White Hat is supposed to be the federal law enforcement agencies. And they are making progress around the country, but that news is not getting out there. It almost seems as if it's intended to bring up the temperature of the country. Because as I speak to you, California, they arrested a woman running for Congress, or indicted a woman running for Congress, and arrested her. She's out on bail. So you have politicians coast to coast that are being picked up.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a Democrat congresswoman who was indicted as well just recently down in Florida.
Oh, she's my favorite with the $200,000 ring on that she posed in the picture with. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
One other thing I was thinking of is, again, you're right, and there is good. Look, we talk about a lot of the negative news, but there is, from a federal national perspective, some of these policies are working. Look, I just saw a statistic today that fentanyl deaths in our country have decreased by 50% in the past 2 years. So you're talking about 80,000 to 40,000 people, 80,000 dying 2 years ago of fentanyl overdose deaths. Now it's down to 40,000. That's progress. I think that's directly attributable to the border enforcement policies of the administration.
So, Michael,
right?
It's huge.
You've got murders that are at a historic 70-year low. And I think, again, when you start to address international terrorist groups that are coming into our country, Tren de Aragua trying to occupy narco terrorists occupying, our cities. When you actually crack down and deport those individuals and put them in jail and enforce those laws, you see, look, murder rates are down at historic 70-year lows.
You know how many?
To get to your point, Shaun, is I think we lose track of a lot of the effectiveness of some of these programs. We talk about the debt, we talk about the scams, we talk about the fraud, we talk about there's cabals of groups that are trying to undermine elections, et cetera, et cetera. But there is some hope out there that we talked about as well.
Michael, I received a letter this week from somebody who lost a son. I received a phone call 3 weeks ago from somebody who lost a son. Fentanyl. And I cannot stomach. I refuse to accept the premise of what has happened with these pharmaceutical companies, how they openly turned American citizens into drug addicts through doctors by telling them that painkillers were not addictive, and they released Oxycontin and so many others onto society that have more addictive than heroin, and how you intentionally destroyed the uptick of welfare and the rest of it. And it seems like they got away with it. And the reality is they did. They pay a fine to whom? You know, I wanted to talk to you about Meta, but in a way I am talking to you about Meta because it's all the same. These individual states sue the player that they say is a bad player. The company, whether it's pharmaceutical or Meta, settles with the states. Who gets the fracking money? The people who were harmed get no money. The state gets the money.
Yeah. I know, and relatively speaking, it's a slap on the wrist. I mean, you're talking about it's pennies on the dollar for the organization, for those entities, and so it's as you said, cost of doing business for it.
Well, Michael, the pharmaceuticals is incredible. $2.3 or $2 billion, the largest ever. Pfizer for the OxyContin. They settled. We're going to settle with the government. $2 billion. 5 years later, the vaccine, they get $2.6 billion in an agreement that they don't have to ever produce, and now poor Dolly's dead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
rest in peace. God bless her.
No, I was just going to say she did the COVID song, which I loved. She did the lyrics to, or the rhythm to Jolene and put the COVID vaccine. You never heard her singing that?
Oh, I didn't, but I mean, still, she's oh no.
Hey.
No, but the point, again, accountability here, right? That's what we're getting at, right, Shaun? Yes. We're getting at accountability, and I think that there does need to be greater accountability. As you said, I do have, again, understanding the nature of prosecutions, how difficult it is for a lot to bring high-profile prosecutions that prosecutors, the federal government, if they're going to bring these cases, have to have their I's dotted, their T's crossed, et cetera. So again, I generally counsel patients, but to your point is I would like to see some accountability of some of the more egregious efforts here to defraud the American people and the American taxpayer. That would go a long way to reassuring our faith in these systems, which, again, has taken such a hit over the past years. And, again, what the big lament I have, to turn us back to our original point, is the hits regarding the voting system, is that we've lost faith in the integrity of it, and that's so dangerous. And efforts to restore that faith are met with vehement attacks. Again, this mail voting, this mail rule that we've been talking about, just challenged this afternoon. The second it was finalized in the Federal Register, there's a lawsuit in front of the same judge. So most likely that rule is going to be stayed. So they're going to enjoin that rule, and so there's not going to be the mail ballot, the barcodes on mail ballots. There's not going to be the stamps on it, at least for the foreseeable future.
I got so much I want to talk to you about. I love our conversations. I'm up against the clock, but I want to tell you two things because I know you like to keep up on it, and sometimes I stumble on something you may not have seen. Project Veritas won their 10-year battle to out the evidence of Jan Schakowsky. I don't know if you know Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. She looks like Dustin Hoffman. She's from Illinois. She's married to a scallywag by the name of Bob Creamer. He was the one who really came up with the idea of the dimmer switch because he couldn't find a bedroom dark enough to mount Jan Schakowsky. He ended up as a bagman for her. He was the one who paid the assets in Chicago to start fights with the Trump supporters that shut down the rally at UIC back in 2016, okay? So Project Veritas has all this evidence of him on investigative reporting, like hidden camera stuff. And all the lawyers come out from Chicago, sue him. 10 years, they won the case. Well, now the evidence out, but who gives a rip? It was 2016, and now they slow played the trial. That's another problem we put up with. They slow play the court system in the Democrat areas, unless, of course, Trump's on trial. Then they expedite it. We can get him in prison in 3 weeks. That's something to be aware of, too, right?
Certainly, yeah. Again, the more it does, it kind of. I think maybe you're getting at the causes celeb. You know, the left. We were kind of talking about this. They never talk about, and the media generally doesn't talk about some of the positive news that comes out. We never hear about Venezuela, right? I guess Venezuela must be going okay because we never hear about it.
Well, let me know if we can get a condo there. We open up a landmark legal out there.
No, I mean, but again, it must have been worth its effort. Again, you hear. What do we hear about? You're talking about this sort of stuff. The ballroom. That's another case that gets a lot of disproportionate amount of press. Yeah. And the only reason I think it's worth talking about the ballroom. First of all, the reason I think it's important to talk about the ballroom is the fact that we're actually having to talk about it. The fact that the Supreme Court actually had to weigh in on this nonsensical challenge. Yeah. This is the nonsense. And it's like whack-a-mole, right? Any executive action that the president takes, no matter how reasonable. Now, again, look, I'm not going to say that Donald Trump is right all the time. There's plenty of instances where there's disagreements. And are there instances where he is probably overreaching regarding his executive authority? Certainly. However, I can guarantee 100% where he's not overreaching in his executive authority. That's construction of a ballroom. And the fact that a D.C. district court and then a D.C. circuit court enjoined that, in other words, stopped construction on that, was absolutely under the most specious rationale regarding the standing doctrine, is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And the fact that they allowed some individual to plausibly say that my enjoyment of the view of the East Wing was adversely affected by construction of a ballroom is enough to satisfy the injury in fact prong of the standing is absurd.
Yes,
and the fact that the Supreme Court of the United States actually had to weigh in on this is absurd in and of itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're talking about, simply the fact that the institutions had to deal with it.
Michael J. O'Neill, I love the fact you make time for me. I really do. And by the way, ballroom was going to confuse the Secret Service anyway. That was her code name for Michelle Obama. I do appreciate you making time to join me.
Always, buddy. You have a great evening.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085, 800-555-2085, or biglou.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, tonight we see partly cloudy skies and a low of 65. The U.S. and Canada have ramped up their trade war, hitting each other with steep new tit-for-tat tariffs, although analysts suspect the longtime allies will eventually strike a deal. Authorities say 7 were hospitalized early this morning following a serious crash involving a semi and van in Bridgeview. It happened around 4 a.m. at 71st and South Harlem Avenue, closing Harlem Avenue for hours. NIPSCO says it hopes to have power restored in northwest Indiana to all customers today. Senator Darlene Graham has won the GOP Senate primary runoff in South Carolina.
People are moving to South Carolina in droves to get away from the blue state policies of the Democratic Socialists.
Graham defeated Congressman Ralph Norman on Tuesday. Cubs and Arizona today, while the White Sox battle the Rangers tonight. The news a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com. today. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560, theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the evening commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jill Urchak.
Southbound Tri-State at the Waukegan Toll Plaza. There is an accident in the two left lanes and another at Wadsworth, so it's very heavy into that northbound side. Also showing delays, but not as much. Jane Addams looks good. Southbound 355 and eastbound Reagan, those are slow. On the Edens, though, going out to Lake Cook Road, 20 minutes is the time. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare is an hour. In the outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour and 10. Post Office to 390. Stevenson out 1 hour to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Half hour outbound Dan Ryan. Slowing in the Express 31st to Marquette. Inbound 57 at Kedzie, there is a crash reported. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proctor University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular NOLAD in Will County is $3.92 a gallon at the Murphy's Express on Jefferson and Joliet. $3.97 a gallon at the Shell on Stager Road in Crete, and $4.01 a gallon at the Quick Trip in University Park.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
Are you retired or getting ready to retire and concerned about taxes eating away at the money you worked so hard to earn and save? What if you could keep more of your retirement income instead of sending more of it to Taxation Uncle Sam? David Dewar, president of Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, specializes in helping you identify opportunities to potentially reduce taxes, maximize retirement income, and protect your financial future. Schedule your free financial analysis by visiting taxfreeretirementsolutions.com. David provides solutions for pension alternatives, Social Security income optimization, guaranteed lifetime income with no stock market risk, life and health insurance savings, and tax-free retirement strategies. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep from Uncle Sam in taxes. Call David Dewar today at 708-369-1153 or visit taxfreeretirementsolutions.com to schedule your free comprehensive financial analysis.
Hi, this is Dave Dewar, aka Patriotic Uncle Sam, and make sure to stop by our table at this year's Shaun Fest for a free raffle and to get your free American flag. See you there.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Ilhan Omar allegedly, reportedly married her brother to get him into the country from Somalia, which is a federal crime. Now, she's denied the rumor, but not really.
Major development this morning related to the long-standing immigration fraud allegations involving Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. News organizations have been requesting records for months, and now a federal agency says it cannot release the records because doing so could interfere with, quote, enforcement proceedings. So
she's a traitor, a thief, a liar, and an illegal. I said it, Squirrel. It's like Barack Obama, first gay president. Emmanuel, Chicago.
Oh, Mr. Thompson, thank you so much for taking my call. I absolutely love your show. You are fantastic.
Oh.
You have changed my life for the better. And I finished reading your book, and I just have two questions. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. My first question is, when are you writing the second one? Because the first one was too short. I need more Shaun Thompson.
Emmanuel, I told my wonderful people that were helping me, I said, when I first submitted it, it was, if not triple, more than double the size. And they said, it's the first one. We're going to do a trilogy. Cut it down. It killed me, Emmanuel, to cut it down. So I did that. I did that at the tip of a spear. But all right, don't worry. I'll get. Not only am I going to write a second one, I'm going to send you the first copy. Deal?
Thank you. Oh, my God. Thank you. That would be amazing. My second question is, I cannot wait to see you at Shaun Fest. I would be more than honored if you could sign my copy of your book. That would be the greatest honor,
absolutely.
Honestly.
You listen to me. You when you get there, you ask for the Honey Bunny, all right?
I will ask for Honey Bunny, and I will be wearing my Thompson 2028 shirt. So you will definitely see me in the. I'm dead serious. I would. You are the greatest leader, honestly.
Oh,
and
dude, I'm not.
Trump has done such a great job, but you are the one that I think you can continue. You have to. You have to. The third party. You are the third party, Don. Come on.
I would love it. Thank you very much. And to think, Squirrel, this is everything that got me punched in the face. Now Emmanuel loves it. Thank you, Emmanuel. I appreciate the call. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. I love you.
See you soon. I love you too. Thank you. Wasn't that nice, Squirrel? That was nice. Terry, Shirekistan.
Hey, Shaun, was Gavin Newsom putting a dig to all the Chicago public schools graduates don't believe everything you read? If we could read, would we listen to the radio?
Hey, Terry, I know I was thinking about you. I'm going to tell you why. Because, you're a Chicago expert. You've been around this stuff your whole life. You swam in that cesspool for years. O'Hare acquisition of the land for O'Hare Airport. I believe that is going to be a tremendous scandal when you dig apart all of the fraud, how they pretend that that's Chicago after stealing that land from one of 3, 4, 5 different towns could have taken that land. And look at the money that they run through that fraud.
Hey, Shaun, how come nobody's asking for Meigs Field from Northern Ireland to be turned back to Meigs Field? And the last point, Pritzker gave $1 billion for medical to illegals last year.
Yeah.
And was it Chicago gave $642 million, but they called it humanitarian aid. 8 U.S. citizens humans, and shouldn't charity begin at home?
The nice thing about stealing in the name of people who don't speak your language and are virtually as illiterate as your Chicago public school student is, who they going to call? Ghostbusters? You really think these Democrats gave $2 billion for anything? They gave it to each other.
Is your book one step ahead of Dick, Spot, and Jane?
Oh, come on. You could barely get through it, Chicago Public School. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a sawbuck for every sentence you can read without slurring a word. See what I did there, Squirrel? Chicago, guys. Phil. They're women, though. They were easy like Sunday morning. Phil in Tinley Park.
Oh, that guy always gets in that last thing. I don't know. I can't be hot. But
yeah.
I am. There's a lot going on in the world, Shaun, but I am laser focused on. I just want to get this Star Spangled Banner right when we all sing together. And I'm practicing. I want the Shaun followers out there in Radio Land to practice in your car, whatever. That song is one continuous question of, is it still there? Is the flag still there?
Yeah.
Are we still there?
You know why
That's
you feel
what it really means.
Yeah, you know why you feel that way? Because you've been watching as your fellow Chicagoan, fellow Illinoisan became a Soviet citizen. The good news is, Phil, you go just a little bit south, it's not like that at all. They're not asking the question. They're making a statement. I appreciate the call. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Is Friday going to be something, Squirrel? Friday is going to be a lot of fun, where we bring out the evidence, and now we do it together live. Everybody that I interview will be there. You'll be there. Squirrel, you're going to be there, right? You're going to wear the denim jean dress just like Honey Bunny? No? All right. Fair enough. You'll be recognizable, though. You have the squirrel shirt on. Honey Bunny will be there. And all you got to do is, are we still doing it or they shut it down already? At the end of the show, they're going to shut it down. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest if you still want to show up on Friday. In the meantime, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls when I get back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Business owners, you gotta love summer in Chicago, but you hate to paint, so do what Al did. He called Rhino Shield.
The building itself is made out of concrete block. We've had it painted once before, and I heard the ads for Rhino Shield, and that piqued my interest.
Rhino Shield's not paint, it's a ceramic coating, which is better.
So the Rhino Shield crew that came out was really good. Next to our building, we have some automotive repair shop. There was no paint, no overspray anywhere that I could see, even on the concrete.
Business or residential, Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty and is formulated specifically for our unique climate here in Chicago. And right now you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
You don't think of paint as an investment, but when you don't have to worry about painting your building for 25 years, to me is a no-brainer.
This offer is limited, so call 847-850-1132 or ChicagoRhinoShield.com. That's ChicagoRhinoShield.com.
Go Rhino Shield.
I've got a question for you. When is the last time you actually looked at your insurance policy? Not renewed it, but looked at it. Most people, including myself, get it, and then you forget about it for years. That's exactly how you end up underinsured and overpaying without even knowing it. Tommy and TJ Iaquinta have built Class A insurance around fixing just that. It's a father and son operation out of Chicago's southwest suburbs. And because they're independent, they're not locked into any one carrier. They work with the best names in the business to find the coverage that actually fits your needs, matches your budget, and does what you want it to do. That kind of attention is why Class A has landed on the list of top 25 home insurance agencies in Chicagoland. So here's what I do. Call Tommy or TJ and ask for a free insurance review. He'll go over it with you line by line, no cost, no obligation, no quote required. You just walk away with the knowledge of where you stand with insurance. To set it up, go to 560insurance.com or call 708-328-5150.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
AM 560, The Answer.
Propaganda. Barack Obama made that real legalized, huh? Legalized! That fracking thief. First gay president. First non-citizen president. Barack Hussein Obama. Lolo Soetoro's stepson. Likes to taste a dog. Filthy animal. However, the propaganda is in real time. Right now, CNN. Trump threatens to tear down the Kennedy Center. Oh, that's only half the story. Communist News Network. You didn't tell them about your district attorney, Larry Krasner, this scumbag, and what he said that prompted the conversation? Here's not just an attorney, the district attorney, a DA. Here he is talking about the President of the United States. Doesn't the DA work for the prosecution, for the government? Here he is talking about the commander and chief.
Michael Cord is a national treasure. He is also a pain in your ass if he's after you.
Oh, yeah, it's a celebration. They're stealing money in the name of the public. They use this ass hat.
Big surprise. And this memorial is a national treasure.
Stole the money.
And not a pain in your ass. But sometimes it does take somebody who has that much courage, that much independence, that much vision to be a pain in the ass, to do something that is really important and really consequential. And so I would like you all to get together. And yeah, I know it wasn't just Michael. I know that there was a whole team, and every single person in that crew deserves credit for what they did. But I would like you to give Michael a round of applause for what he has accomplished here in the last decades.
Now, here we go.
And then there's somebody who is just a pain in the ass. And that would be Donald J. Trump.
No, he's the devil.
He's the devil. All right, well, there is some evidence.
They're in an area where they steal money, a Democrat area. So the people in the audience, he's the devil. You hear these imbeciles? Well, if he's the devil, stop taking our money. Stop taking the money of the people who like him. Can you do that? And the answer is no. They have to steal the money.
To that effect.
I hate that man. I hate
And,
that man,
and we have
baby.
someone here who hates that man, too.
Yes, I do. And I agree.
And we got people agreeing. There seems to be an agreement here. Well, there should be an agreement.
Now use the word in a
because
sentence.
The man himself
Stupid.
is the embodiment of hate. He is the embodiment of ignorance. He is the embodiment of depriving people of their vote and their education. That's who he is.
Depriving them of their
And so I
vote
want
and
you to
their
think
education.
forward because there is a beautiful time coming.
What's that beautiful time?
There is a beautiful time coming. This memorial will be here. The educational content will be here. People will be coming to see it, not for a year or two, or not even 20 years. They will be coming to see it as long as this federal park is here. But let me tell you what will not be here. There will not be a ballroom. There will not be a ballroom. There will not be a Kennedy Center renamed for a fool. That will not be happening. What is going to be happening is that about 10 or 15 years, we are all going to be sitting here with smiles on our faces because we, thanks to Michael and all of you, will have won. They will have lost. And I'm going to have a paperweight sitting on my desk. You know what that paperweight's going to be? It's going to be a piece of the ballroom after we all blow it up. That's what it's going to be. In an official ceremony, just so we're clear.
That's where the lawyer voice in his head say, wait a minute, did I just threaten to blow up the White House? Yeah, you did, stupid.
In an official ceremony, we're going to blow it up, and we're going to give the taxpayers their money back by selling all the pieces as paperweights, and I will have one on my desk. So I just want to say this one more time. Thank you all for being here to honor these.
The district attorney, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Or what we could do, scumbag, is audit every dollar that ever came into your office and tear down your building that you just celebrated, dummy. Let's go to war. Let's go. We'll be back.
For over 40 years, the Heartland Institute has stood for the ideas that built this country. Free markets, limited government, and individual freedom. Now you're invited to celebrate that legacy in person. Join Heartland on Thursday, September 3rd for their 42nd anniversary benefit dinner at the historic Palmer House Hilton in downtown Chicago, one of the city's most iconic addresses for over 150 years. This year's keynote speaker is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has led Florida through 2 terms of record economic growth, making it one of the fastest growing states in the nation. The evening kicks off with a reception at 5, dinner at 6, an evening of great company, great conversation, and a shared belief in the principles that made America exceptional. Seats are limited, and they will go fast. Reserve yours today at benefit.heartland.org. That's benefit.heartland.org. The Heartland Institute's 42nd Anniversary Benefit Dinner, September 3rd, Palmer House Hilton, Chicago. Don't just believe in freedom, celebrate it.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
We're living in a time when anti-Semitism is rising. Hostility toward Israel is growing, and Jewish people are facing hatred and contempt. As Christians, we can't let culture determine our response. We need to let Scripture determine our response. The Bible reminds us that God is faithful, and when God makes a covenant, He keeps it. His promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob still matter today. That's why I'm proud to support the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has united Christians and Jews to care for Israel's most vulnerable people, providing food, medicine, shelter, security, and assistance. As believers, we're called to stand against hatred, pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and remember that we're part of one redemptive story, rooted in the faithfulness of God. As Esther 4:14 reminds us, we have come to this moment for such a time as this. Discover how you can get involved with the fellowship at standwithifcj.org. That's standwithifcj.org.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Have you seen those Russian floating folk dancers that look like they're gliding on air?
Impressive. They kind of resemble the Brody table at Penny Mustard.
You're right.
And these upholstered caster dining chairs look like they're also gliding on air. Here, I'll show you. Be careful.
Watch out!
I never was a very good dancer.
The Brody table, paired with 4 caster dining chairs, starting at $64.22 at Penny Mustard.
Now open in Algonquin.
PennyMustard.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I know Scott for many years. Wicked smart. First time I met him, I said, man, oh man, this guy is smart. Maybe he can explain how paying higher interest rates lowers your monthly payment like Brandon Johnson. Scott the Cowguy Shality. We'll discuss that and more after Foxweiser.
A mail-in voting rule faces a legal challenge. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The suit filed over President Trump's executive order to limit mail-in voting in the midterm.
Days after the Supreme Court dismissed the challenge from Democratic-led states, a new lawsuit has been filed to block an executive order setting new rules for the Postal Service to deliver mail-in ballots. Lower courts put that executive order on hold, but a majority of Supreme Court justices lifted the injunction, finding the lawsuit was filed prematurely. A new challenge comes as the Trump administration issued its rule requiring the Postal Service to deliver ballots only if it receives a list of eligible voters and the federal government approves the design of envelopes. Election officials have warned implementation is impossible before the midterms. The first wave of mail ballots will be sent out next week.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The parent company of Facebook and Instagram agrees to a landmark settlement in the trial over teen social media addiction.
Over the next 10 years, Meta will have to pay up to $18 billion to the coalition of 29 states that sued the tech giant. California alone will get up to $2 billion, money earmarked for youth mental health programs. And the long list of changes on Facebook and Instagram include time limits, stopping notifications, a block on the app during critical overnight hours, and bans on beauty features like plastic surgery filters.
Fox's Claudia Cowan in Oakland, California. The settlement still needs the approval of the court. A military judge has set a trial date of June 5th, 2028 for accused 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 3 co-conspirators, rejecting a request by prosecutors to begin proceedings in January. The 4 men have been held at Guantanamo Bay since 2003. This coming as the country prepares to mark 25 years since the attacks. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, it's a 25-minute ride to get to Lake Cook Road, Kennedy, 48 minutes, Jane Byrne Interchange, to O'Hare, Eisenhower. There's an accident reported inbound at Pulaski, hour and 10 going in. The outbound side also an hour and 10 with a crash reported at Wolf Road. Northbound 55, an accident at Veterans Parkway. Stevenson, an hour out to 355, 2 separate accidents. One reported at Kedzie, another at Clarendon Hills. Dan Ryan out 30. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, Tri-State Street South. A crash at the Waukegan toll. Traffic is being diverted around that area, so that's a mess. Another at Wadsworth. You'll also see delays southbound 355. Traffic is a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com, Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. Steiner Homes, love where you live. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
When it comes to supplements, two things matter most. One, that it works, and two, you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, I want to let my audience do it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Mark was in tears from his daily hand joint discomfort, but after a week on Relief Factor, he felt 50% better, and now he barely notices any pain. He is so happy, he says he's spreading the word to everybody he knows. My hands were like Mark's. I couldn't even button my own shirt at times. Like Mark and me, there are so many people getting their life back with Relief Factor. They make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor helped you tackle your daily aches and pain. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Call 1-800-4RELIEF. Get the 3-week quick start, $17.76. 1-800-4RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com. You'll be connected with their friendly local team, and they will do everything they can just to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Near the end of the Revolutionary War, George Washington received a letter from one of his own officers. Colonel Lewis Nicola suggested that America might be better served by a monarchy, with Washington himself as king. Washington firmly rejected the idea. He had spent years leading Americans in a fight for independence from a monarchy. He would not see that victory end with America creating a king of its own. He understood that the cause of the revolution was greater than any one man. His example reminds us that power can be offered, earned, or taken. But character determines whether we use it for ourselves or remain faithful to something greater.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with
Mayor Brandon Johnson says
our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
You know, when I talk to you about our next guest, and it's truly an honor, I've been privileged enough to have met Scott before the economic collapse. We actually met about 2005-ish, 2006, and we would talk throughout the years. And I have come to appreciate him as really, truly, when it comes to markets, one of the smartest guys I know in interpreting markets and predicting markets and understanding markets. So immediately upon me hearing that Brandon Johnson had some new way to figure out a gap.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says he has a plan to bridge Chicago's growing budget gap, but city council members remain skeptical. WGN political editor Taman Bradley is here now with the latest to explain this one. Taman.
Good afternoon, Lourdes. This summer, the mayor's budget team projected a 2026 budget shortfall of tens of millions of dollars. The mayor says he's come up with a fix, and his plan does not require city council approval. Today, Mayor Brandon Johnson announced a plan to close the 2026 budget gap, and he blasted his city council opponents.
Today, I'm grateful to share that my administration has identified a pathway forward to close the projected $85.1 million budget shortfall for fiscal year 2026, which was created by members of the corporate caucus.
The mayor plans to refinance eligible city bonds, which he's...
Now, I could be wrong because I am not as smart as my next guest. But to refinance debt when money and debt is at the highest it's been in 21 years, I just can't figure out how you save money doing it. But I'm not an expert in economics, but I can spot ghettonomics. My next guest is an expert in economics. Scott the Cowguy Shality, you handsome son of a gun. How can you possibly close the budget by paying more for debt than you were paying before?
Like Mayor Svengoolie. Maybe he's going to try to do a little switcheroo with the yield curve. But he's not going to win. There's no way around it. I don't understand how. No. I mean, you know what it means is he doesn't understand it. That's the bottom line. He does not understand it, because if you're sitting in that room, and let's just say it's your mortgage on your house, and the rates are whatever. Your mortgage is at 4% because we got that low during the pandemic. Now rates are at 7%, and you're going to cover the shortfall by refinancing from 4% up to 7%? That doesn't make sense. Because you're an expert in economics. But me, my friend, I'm an expert in ghettonomics. And here's how ghettonomics works. Ghettonomics means when you refi, you don't make a payment for 60 days. Woo! We're going shopping! You could pretend you're making money because you don't have to make payments for 60 days, and you go to Louis Vuitton and you buy a bag, and you stop at your way to Nordstrom's, you get yourself some Stacey Adams, and you're styling. That's what these people do, and they'll do that the debt consolidation where they get a big loan to pay off all their credit cards, but they don't cut up the credit cards. Then they have now this big loan, and then they re-up the credit cards again. That's what he's going to do. So this is embarrassing. Well, what's embarrassing is that other part you said about defaulting strategically. There's a component missing in strategic default that's cut in this clip as well. I think you're gonna enjoy this, Scott. And this, after all, I know how hard you work. I want you to enjoy some of your day.
Says would lower overall debt service costs. And if necessary, Mayor Johnson says the city will tap into remaining COVID relief money. Johnson blames the budget shortfall on revenue backed by a rebel group of alders.
From the beginning, our administration warned that this so-called alternative budget relied on speculative, untested revenues that were not guaranteed to materialize. The most glaring example is the alternate group's plan to sell outstanding debt to a third-party collector. That proposal produced $0.
They went to 20 banks, 20, that all have a relationship with the city. They have over $1 billion in debt that they were trying to sell for anything. You know what the bid was? Gatsangul. Nothing. My offer to you is this. Nothing. You could buy $1 billion for 10 cents on the dollar. Wait, who am I trying to collect from? Chicago Democrats. It ain't worth a dime. Well, they can't sell the Skyway or the parking meters anymore, so now they're down to nothing. Yeah. You can't sell debt. You can't sell billions of dollars of debt for 80 million, 90 million. That's all that's what you say you're short. You can't. Well, I got 1.1 billion. I'm looking for 100 million. Anybody. Crickets. That's a bankruptcy. I had to explain it to my finance class when I was the adjunct professor of finance at DePaul. I said, look, we looked at the books of the city of Chicago, and these kids, they're 20, 21, 22 years old. They're looking at me kind of cross-eyed, raising their hands, saying, Mr. Shelby, the city's bankrupt. I said, no. As long as they have 3 cups and a round red ball, they're going to play keep away, and they're going to keep moving the chairs around on that Titanic because it won't sink yet. But they are structurally, closed. They're structurally in default. They're structurally out of business. But they'll be able to keep this thing going with smoke and mirrors as long as they can sell bonds. I mean, it is unbelievable. And all I keep thinking about is that first class with you and the kid from Wheaton named Winston. And he says, excuse me, Professor Scott the Cowguy, I've only played spin the bottle once, and I did graduate high school, and it looks to me like Chicago's bankrupt. How did you not laugh for the rest of the year? No, I told them, this is the world they're going to be graduating into, and they got to steer well clear of it, right? I mean, they didn't know how to buy a car. I taught them how to do that, but I also taught them what's it like buying a house and
they didn't really remember that old thing when you were a kid. When we were younger, you could buy points.
Yeah.
Nobody really does that anymore. I talked to them about that and what it means and duration. And by the end of the class, at the end of the course, they were lapping it up left, right, and center because I opened their eyes up to the world, and they saw that the city that they lived in. They saw that back then in 2014, the $62,000 a year their parents were paying, back then, which is insane, was going to be smoke and mirrors. I mean, they were going to be graduating in a world where everybody was lying to them.
So now take, for instance, the example of all of these kids who come from these areas, and their life is a lot easier than it used to be for any of us or any of the generations in the past. And they get to the college and they still have a hard time working out how to achieve at things and what to do when you do achieve. See, achieving is only the first hurdle. It's what to do after the money comes. What do you do then? And now reflect on somebody who grew up wearing everybody else's clothes, who passed away with an incredible life story of not just talent, but business accolades, achievement, a kind of altruism and that can only come from an individual, not a government, as she gave away tremendous amounts of money through philanthropy. What an amazing businesswoman. And I could be wrong, but I don't remember, was it Harvard, Yale, or Oxford that gave Dolly Parton her degree?
The woman was just genuinely smart. She obviously shouldn't go to any one of those. She's from a small town in Sevierville, Tennessee. I've been up there. But the best story I like about her, and you need to hear it because I did it on my show today, was that in 1974, she sung a song, wrote the song and sang it, "I Will Always Love You." Elvis heard it and said, "I want to record it." Elvis was being managed then by a famous guy named Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He got in touch. He got in touch with Dolly and said, "Elvis wants to sing that song." She was still young and not really had made anything yet, and was just kind of coming up through the ranks, and she had a small team around her. And when they heard that the most famous singer at the time wanted to sing that song, they were absolutely ecstatic. This was their ticket. They're going to hit the big time. And Colonel Tom Parker said there's only one caveat, is that he wants 50% of the song rights, writing and lyrics. I mean, lyrics and the music. And she says, "Well, that's my writing. Those are my lyrics. Why would I do that?" He says, "Well, Elvis isn't going to do it unless you give him basically 50% of everything." And she says, "Well, I can't. I wrote it. It's me." He says, "All right. So that's a no?" She says, "No, I can't do that." And so he pulled stakes, canceled the recording session. Her team around her was livid. Fast forward to 1992. Whitney Houston sings it in a movie called The Bodyguard. They interviewed Dolly about that then. She says, "On just that recording, I've made over $10 million, and I can buy Graceland with it now, outright." So I think I won that bet.
And I'll tell you what, that story of that bastard, that Tom Parker, I spent I don't know how many hours in Vegas thinking he was buried there, looking for his gravesite with 5 Starbucks in the car, because that's my thing. I got a little bit of a tick. I like to relieve myself on the graves of my enemy. I couldn't find it, however. And then I find out he's one of you people. Am I not right? Isn't he a Dutchman from Holland with the wooden shoes and the stabbing? He was on the run for murder, wasn't he?
I don't know I don't know about that, but the guy wasn't a good guy, clearly. And if he was Dutch, that explains why he's a money man. Because
that's exactly what I was thinking.
The Dutch are the cheapest people on earth. So, as I say, I can't say it. I got in trouble on your air saying that before. No, the Dutch are the cheapest people on earth. I'm one of them. So
yes,
that's the way it goes.
Yes, and one of the things that's fascinating, though, they're not the people who are cheap, because these are the people who really crafted a way in which, for the ordinary man, to have the opportunity to buy a piece of a company he doesn't even understand. Really, when you look back at the legacy of what stock investing, speculation, all of what America became the youngest and the richest country, making multi-millionaires out of tens of millions of people. The earnings reports that come out, they're really an homage to the Dutch, aren't they? I mean, think about what they did. And think about the way it gets slammed. And think about how to this moment in time, it has changed the world because they had an idea.
Everybody heard about the Dutch tulip crisis, and it wasn't really a crisis. It was a crazy bubble time, but it's been way overblown. I mean, I think the high, there was one Dutch tulip traded for the price of a house on the waterway, which is ridiculous anyway. But it's not just a cigar, Shaun. There are the Dutch masters, and they're the ones that basically invented lending. They invented how to run a business. They invented, shares. I mean, they are very well and truly in Europe. Everybody knows them to be the race that is cheap and miserly and doesn't spend any money. And my father used to say it to me all the time. We're Dutch. We can squeeze the buffalo off a nickel. So, and you know what? And by the way, that's not a bad thing, because I can't tell you how many times my parents were getting big fights because my dad would go out and buy a $900,000 combine for the farm. And my mom would be looking for just a little money to buy a little Mercedes 190E back in the 80s, right?
Not going to happen.
And he says, I don't care what you tell me. I guarantee you one of those things makes me money and the other one just sits there and depreciates. We're not going to buy that one.
Yeah. I saw that story in Melrose Park, too. It was just the opposite way. They bought the Mercedes. Nobody had a combine. However, one of the things I want to tell you as we get back to the principles of propertyism, property rights, and this idea of what makes companies valuable and what makes them non-valuable. I couldn't help but really lose my mind today watching this company that really is a monument to an idea that was maybe stolen or maybe not stolen, probably stolen. However, what Zuckerberg did was amazing to me. It's amazing what this kid did. And the idea and the benefits of it, the idea that company settled with the most corrupt states in this country for $17 billion, that not $1 will go to one of the kids, one of the people harmed, in the name of that you just took $17 billion and you gave it to states that not only don't deserve it, will never give it to the rightful people who were allegedly harmed. They really wanted an example of how to implement a fascism, the likes of which I never thought I'd have to see in this country. Oh, you're not going to do this, and we're going to do this. So now the state not only tells the people, we make the decisions of what happens in this state. We take the money. Even though you say you're harmed, we're still going to shake down a private company. I can't believe he settled, this coward bastard.
Well, because he was, look, I mean, I agree with you 100%. And let's just get one thing out of the way. I'm not for bullying of any children. I'm not for online harassment. I am not for any of that, right? But I'll tell you this. That's a parent's job.
Of course it is.
That's not the state's job. That's not anybody's job. And when we're trying to, I mean, all the smart people that I have talked to about this case all say it's a slippery slope, and we're moving into the place where the parents should be taking over, not the school, not Facebook, not anybody else. And how do you blame that on Facebook when it's happening in your house? I get it. I don't want kids to get harmed. But at the same time, folks, you got to pay attention. There has to be some sort of parental guidance there. And we've just basically let it go. And you're right. It's going to be total. The state's in control, just like people have, let control of their kids go to the school. They don't want to know. Let the school raise them.
Well, that's just the emotional. Anyway. That's the emotional argument, right? The reality is the state steals the money from the corporation. The $17 billion, $2 billion to California. California took $100 billion they said was a surplus, made it a $20 billion loss. They don't have 5 fracking cents. They're like the hobo outside of Maywood Park with yesterday's race form trying to pick the trifecta. And now they're going to get $2 billion on the name of a kid that they'll never pay. It's outrageous that he settled. I am, and listen, I don't have skin in the game one way or the next. I don't own Facebook stock. I didn't believe it made money in the first place. I missed a lot of this. However, he's supposed to stand for the principle of what made him rich. And now he just destroyed it. I am appalled, really.
I mean, we've moved into dangerous territory. And look, I've got a British passport. What's going on over there with free speech is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, we're getting into some really, really dangerous stuff.
Think about the lawyers. All the lawyers made a fracking fortune. These slip and fall, shyster, good-for-nothing scoundrels. They all made a fortune.
I agree. It's ridiculous. I mean, but you know what? I got to tell you, it was a smart move. I think that you never know what you're going to get with a jury. And these people nowadays, I mean, listen, I did the story on my show the other day. when you've got socialism rocketing up the ranks of popularity with young people, you've got the WNBA that can't describe what the W stands for in their name. And now you have NFL players getting cut that still have college eligibility left, going back down to the collegiate level for the NIL deals, because it's more than we're going to get in the NFL. The world has gone back, you know what, crazy. and that's why you wouldn't want to throw this idea at a jury, because who knows what they would come up.
Yeah, because you're dealing with scum. You know, this is the other thing. I was on the plane today coming back, and there are the 6 morons with the fracking mask on. You could see they were proud to be slaves, self-loathing. Yeah,
Really?
Couldn't believe it, Scott. Couldn't believe it. All ugly as the day is long. They might as well have had their voter ID card hanging out of their pocket. All Democrats identifying themselves right out in the open. And you look around and you think to myself, these are the idiots that would make up a jury if you're on trial for free speech. These are the get the hell out of here, my peers. I can't wait for AI. You want to know who my peer is? AI. Give me AI. He'll tell me if I'm guilty or not.
I mean, can you imagine? You're going to be, this is a multi-billion-dollar outcome, and you're going to throw the decision at a bunch of people that don't have to be at work for a week or two in a row?
It's a bunch of fat old women. You don't want to smell anything in their house. The savages. Hair is purple. They think they could stand up when they pee. These are California peers. The scariest thing any business could face is we're going to take you to trial in California. Can you imagine?
Oh, my word. No, I mean, you're right. And it would look like you're just looking at a Crayola box by looking in the jury, all the different color there.
Boy. We're going back to Holland. You got any layouts on real estate in Holland? It's either that or I really like that northern Italy by the coast, maybe a little Switzerland. You get good breaks on the timepieces. Have you scouted out your next country?
Yes, I have. I've lived I've not lived. I've traveled extensively in Europe, and I would say to this day it's got a problem with immigration. But the most beautiful city in the world still is Paris. It's unbelievable. And the best country in the world is Italy. I mean, the southern part of Italy, the Amalfi Coast is just, it makes you want to cry. Now, there are some beautiful parts of Holland, obviously, and Amsterdam's wonderful.
Yeah.
And my wife especially loves Amsterdam for a different reason. But my family...
You got to love the crazy surf. Love her! Go ahead.
She's crazy, but we like... that's why we have dairy cows, because we're Frisians, right? The Frieslanders. It's a flat, watery kind of area, and I mean, they're the smart ones. You know, that's what I love about the Dutch. But they are a little bit cheap sometimes to hurt themselves.
Yeah. I don't know if I could blend in Italy. I'd lose my mind with the accent and the sundresses. You know, that would be very expensive for me. I would take the fresh food and the. Do they have divorce attorneys in Italy? But I do love the idea that.
No, I don't think they have them. No, what they do is they just let it go. You're allowed to have a girlfriend. You know,
let it go. Let it go. Where are you going? I'm going for a walk. Yeah.
When you die, there's 3 parts to the funeral. The middle part is your family, the left part is your wife's family, and then the other side is the girlfriend's family.
Yeah, you can always tell how wonderful a guy is by how hard his girlfriend cries for him in Italy. I do love that. One of the things I find fascinating is the NVIDIA numbers. What happened? Tell me. I've been doing a show. I didn't see it all.
Of course, they beat on top and bottom line, and then they guided better as well. The last 4 quarters, they've done that. The last 4 quarters, they've done that. The stock sold off, but this time it did dip a little bit, but now it's come back pretty strong. I think I just checked; it was up about 5%, 4%.
Woo!
So it finally went up. I mean, these guys, it's like they're trying to keep a beach ball underwater. Yeah, we're up 4%, up about $8, which is not that big of a deal. But they've been the last 4 quarters in a row. They've done the same thing and they've hit it. So I think they're getting sick and tired of beating it up. It's a great stock. I mean, I own it, so all this full disclosure out there. I think it's fantastic, but the street's always afraid that thinks that there's going to be something coming around the corner. When's the next shoe going to drop? But these guys keep killing it, and they're raising prices. And by the way, they're not allowed to sell into China yet. This doesn't have any Chinese business in their numbers.
Did you see the hacking scandal? They hacked the Pentagon. They hacked everything else. These Chinese communist bastards. Did you see it?
No, was it Swallow's girlfriend?
Today.
Swallow's girlfriend?
Fang Fang, the rake. Yeah, you could pick a lock with her. What was it you liked about her? Her hips? Did you see her? You could pick a lock with her.
She looked like an 11-year-old boy.
Oh, my God. You got to keep him away from outlets and a wall. That guy will mount anything. I I was thinking about going to the floor. I got a couple of buddies of mine. I want to see if Rick Santelli's still smoking Marlboros in the parking lot. Have you heard anything about the floor opening up in Texas, or is it just going to be all automated now? We're done. We're dinosaurs.
No. Well, I don't know about it. I don't know about that, but I do know that they're going to make a big play. Texas wants to be the elite stocks. They're not going to just take any listing. So they've got a chance. Look, they've got a great chance. The business is migrating south.
Yeah.
It used to be New York. Now it's Miami. There's no reason why Texas can't take a little bit of that as well. And London's suffering from the same thing. It's not going to be in London forever. I just think that the world's changing because you can't let these leftists run these blue cities and states. They're going to run them into the ground.
No,
and we're going to have the Mason-Dixon line is going to come back and play again because people will have had enough. They're just going south because they can't. Look, those people. It boggles my mind that we still have the intellect of folks that are still willing to wear masks on a plane. Now, people are going to write me. I guarantee I'm going to get lit up on Twitter by, well, what if they have an infectious disease and they're doing it for your benefit?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. But at the end of the day, we all know there's people that just still wear them because they think that it's a virtue signal for I'm better than you. I'm in the cult. I'm looking out for myself and you. You should thank me.
Yeah. Either that or it's a masturbation trophy that we're unaware of. I will say, I do think, you ever look at these frickin' people? I want to meet the caballero that's fooling around with these ugly bastards. Unless, I don't know if you, next time you can, look at the revenue into Chicago. It's fracking hysterical. It's the one-armed bandits, the illiterate tax on economics called the video poker machines and pot dispensaries. And I hear their big play is that the new generation cartel is going to start to offer stock options where you could buy in future distribution and future dope payoffs after Trump gets out of office. So it's the end of the world in the blue areas, and the red areas are thriving. I can't wait to see it tomorrow, 12:30 to 1:30. I heard Proft interview. I think you got the time of your show wrong. It's 12:30 to 1:30.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it used to be 1 to 1:30. He hasn't changed his little script.
Oh, come on. He's still wearing golf attire from when Greg Norman was playing. You take a look at him?
Right. He's probably got those bike coaches pants that come up to his belly button.
Yeah. I tell you, there's a picture somewhere of him floating around with those parachute pants when he used to break dance. I'd pay big money for that. Scott Shality, thanks for always making time for me, brother. I love you. Thank you. Say hello to the wife.
Have a good weekend. See ya.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Judy loves the summer in Chicago, but she hates the paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
And Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty and is formulated specifically for our unique climate here in Chicago.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
And just in time for summer Chicago, you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
This offer is for a limited time, so call now, 847-850-1132, 847-850-1132, or ChicagoRhinoShield.com.
No pain, go Rhino Shield.
Are you retired or getting ready to retire and concerned about taxes eating away at the money you worked so hard to earn and save? What if you could keep more of your retirement income instead of sending more of it to Taxation Uncle Sam? David Dewar, president of Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, specializes in helping you identify opportunities to potentially reduce taxes, maximize retirement income, and protect your financial future. Schedule your free financial analysis by visiting taxfreeretirementsolutions.com. David provides solutions for pension alternatives, Social Security income optimization, guaranteed lifetime income with no stock market risk, life and health insurance savings, and tax-free retirement strategies. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep from Uncle Sam in taxes. Call David Dewar today at 708-369-1153 or visit taxfreeretirementsolutions.com to schedule your free comprehensive financial analysis.
Hi, this is Dave Dewar, aka Patriotic Uncle Sam, and make sure to stop by our table at this year's Shaun Fest for a free raffle and to get your free American flag. See you there.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so So we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5400 to schedule a free consultation.
Didn't I get the web address for Freedom Summit wrong the other day, Squirrel? Yes, I did. Well, who changed it? I used to know it. Used to be 560, but now freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. What did we buy part of GoDaddy? Every time I turn around, we got a different domain name. I love it. freedomsummitchicago.com is where you can buy tickets for 7 different price ranges to go to Freedom Summit. October 10th at the West Inn in Itasca. Same place as Shaun Fest this Friday. So if you can't go this Friday, October 10th is right around the corner. Tickets are on sale. Freedom Summit's the same platform. There's only so many seats. So they break it down from different options where you can meet James O'Keefe, where you can meet Scott Walker, have perhaps a little hors d'oeuvre, or as it's known in Melrose Park, hors d'oeuvre. You could have a hors d'oeuvre, perhaps a drink and a cocktail served on a white napkin, top dollar. Or you could go the way I would go. Being from Melrose Park, I just slip in, give me the base ticket, and I walk around. That's what I like to do. And if you've been there, you know how much fun it is. It is a full day of keynote speakers, book signings, breakout sessions, and much, much more. Prof will be there, Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, and so many others. You're going to get to see the people who actually make the station function, the behind the scenes. The suits will be there. They'll be all dolled up. You'll recognize them. And make sure that you understand when we're there, we cannot wait to hear from you and introduce you to Scott Walker and James O'Keefe. 2 fantastic people, 2 people who will be noted in history as fighting back against the Leviathan just the way you fight back every day. Just simply go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. And I'll see you on October 10th. It's a great time. When we get back, I know Greg. I had a feeling. I said, boy, oh boy, Greg is going to call. We're going to talk about Meta. Greg will be first. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, the forecast tonight shows partly cloudy skies and a low of 65. Massive flash flooding in Nepal is said to kill at least 384 tourists are missing. 2 are dead from the measles in Pennsylvania. The first measles-related deaths in Pennsylvania in 35 years. Country music legend Dolly Parton being remembered today for her legacy of charity.
There's been an outpouring of love for Dolly from all walks of life.
It doesn't matter what group you are, even politically. Like, both sides think Dolly's them.
Country music radio and TV personality Bobby Bones.
So she was a lot of things, but what she remained was country.
Dolly Parton died peacefully Tuesday in Nashville at the age of 80.
The Cubs take on Arizona today while the White Sox battle the Rangers. The news, a service of Staples. It's officially the most wonderful time of the year At Staples, back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy. Your next news update at 7. News, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your evening commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Edens, 25 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook Road, the Kennedy, 45 minutes to get from downtown to the airport. Titan Express, Ohio to Montrose. Accident inbound Eisenhower at Pulaski, hour and 10 going in. An accident reported at the Burn Interchange outbound, hour and 5 going out. On the Stevenson outbound, 2 crashes, one at Clarendon Hills, another at Kedzie. Outbound Dan Ryan, 25 minutes out to 95th. Slow on the outbound Ford, 115th to 159th with road work. Tri-State northbound crash at Irving Park. The 2 right lanes are blocked. Delays either way on that, as well as to Sabo Lakeshore Drive, southbound 355 and eastbound Reagan. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Thursday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 81. Thursday night will be mainly clear, providing good viewing conditions for the lunar eclipse with a low of 62. Friday will be partly sunny and nice with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
The IRS has one job, to collect every dollar they believe you owe. What's your plan? If you have unfiled tax returns, owe back taxes, or you've received IRS notices, don't wait until your paycheck is garnished or your bank account is frozen. Fight back with experienced tax professionals. At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we represent taxpayers before the IRS every day. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. We know the system, we know the rules, and we know how to protect your rights. Whether you need to stop collections, negotiate a payment plan, request penalty relief, or resolve years of tax problems, we're ready to go to work for you. The IRS has experts on their side, and you should have experts on yours as well, right? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group today at 630-415-5296, or better yet, just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Hello, this is Michael Youssef with Leading the Way for townhall.com. While I was visiting the Middle East several years ago, a highly placed government official, who's a Muslim himself, asked me a troubling question. Why is the Muslim Brotherhood outlawed as a terrorist organization in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in the United Arab Emirates, in Jordan, in Egypt, and yet allowed to flourish in America? Founded in Egypt in 1928, the Brotherhood's history is drenched in blood. It was spawned and inspired groups like Hamas, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Now, Congress can designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist entity. This designation act would finally name the Brotherhood for what it is and disrupt its financial networks. Contact your representatives, senators, ask them to support this bill. I'm Michael Youssef.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Also starting today, All U.S.-based companies will be banned from taking part in government procurement. Every year, the province and its agencies spend about $30 billion on procurement. Alongside our more than $200 billion plan to build infrastructure. U.S.-based businesses will now lose out on tens of billions of dollars in revenues. They only have President Trump to blame.
Maybe they got you and your hybrid communist country. There he is, Ontario's masturbation champion, Greg LaGrange.
Did you just associate me with that position, Ontario?
Did I just associate you with what?
That position in Ontario?
No. I was going to separate you from Doug Ford, but I figured I'd let it hang out there and see how comfortable you were with your own sexuality.
Thank you for the correction.
Anytime.
I think this whole meta thing stinks, and there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, the most obvious thing is you have a guy with a lot of money that could just wave away a perceived problem with money. And it's all good and everybody's happy. That's ridiculous.
Well,
I didn't look at the states involved, but I'm sure it's not part of what you would call the heavenly 11 red states that were in this lawsuit, correct?
No, there was. I think Ohio might have been in it, though. There is a Republican state in the mix. But when you hear what the settlement terms are, Greg, that's where the rubber meets the road, because what the settlement terms are, in essence, is that the states control access to the internet the same way Iran did. And that's all part of the settlement. And once again, you get to the point of how comfortable are you being a slave to corrupt governments? Because the money that is settled, the $17 billion that will be divided among the scum states that sued them, the people in those states do not get that money. So you have a settlement where the entities of corruption that facilitate the problem in the first place, these are the same ones that facilitated the censorship by Facebook of those citizens, now gets paid a reward to do it again. And it's censorship to a certain thing. But this is the idea that only the government can tell a child no. Because now in today's America, parents don't tell their kids no, let alone slap that dung out of them.
This is the thing. This is separating the child from the parent at the state's behest for the state to gain more power.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. They're talking about children being intimidated or being threatened by different materials that might be deemed dangerous, but they have no problem exposing children in libraries to the most horrific, pornographic.
Well, listen. When you hear
disgusting sexually type of material,
oh yeah, that's
at a young
normal.
age, and then they blame us for burning books.
So, did you hear part of the settlement is doom? It's called doom scrolling. Did you hear that part of it?
I did not hear that.
So, doom scrolling is a term deemed by now these governments that say kids can no longer look at information that's upsetting. So you mean like a guy like me, like a jerk like me, who tells you the vaccine will kill you faster than the pandemic was meant to. That's doom scrolling. And then if Greg from LaGrange says it, and Squirrel says it, and Joe Matarat says it, oh, no, the state says, no, you can't do it. So you have now begged for the state to come in and censor access to the internet. Now you're going to say it's for kids under 18. Who the frack are you to tell me anything?
Can I make one more point?
Yeah.
When you basically say that some entity can basically go after you legally because of upsetting speech, how do you have a conversation? Because it's so subjective, anything could be a penalty now. The state is taking over control of our freedom of speech.
You and I discussed this in the midst of the greatest example of American fascism this country's ever known. When you are comfortable being a slave, the idea of liberty is the enemy. The idea of choice and freedom and free speech is your adversary. That's what this settlement is. I couldn't agree with you more. This settlement, and not only that, it's done by a guy who was made rich because you were entrusted to protect the principles of capitalism and property rights against the attacks by communists and corrupt politicians. and you settle, you betrayed everybody. I think I don't own the stock, but if I did, I'd sell every fracking penny of it. Thank you very much. Every penny I'd sell. Scumbag. Rick Desplains.
Shaun, how you doing, man? You just get my ire up every day. I look forward to these 3 hours.
Me too,
it's less than 48 until Shaun Fest.
I know. I'm excited. I'm getting there. You excited?
I'll keep it real short. I got 2 points to make. I've been on hold for a long time. Thank you, honey bunny.
I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead.
That's all right. She's doing the best she can, and she's wonderful. All right, so is Squirrel. You don't ever fire them, or you're dead.
No, I'd never fire.
I'll call the people there and
I'm not a fire guy. I might throw a squirrel through the window before I fire him, but I'm never fire.
I'll catch.
Go ahead.
Dolly Parton, when you talked about that song, I forget the name of it now.
Mm-hmm. Jolene, or Vaccine?
No, I will always love you.
I will always love you. Yeah, that's a great song.
He literally meant that song for Porter Wagner.
Really?
Who took her under his wing and brought her up and loved the hell out of her, but she was a lot younger than him, and she wanted to go off and do her own thing, kind of like me and Honey Bunny.
Yeah, exactly. Honey Bunny's got her own problem. Poor thing. She's got her nursing degree, and she's going to be taking care of a patient.
I know what she's got going on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, one more thing.
What do you got?
As far as Brandon Johnson goes, he's looking for a way to get some more money for the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, the parking meters are sold, all that. There's nothing left. Okay, refinancing debt, that's not going to work. We all know that.
Yeah.
But there's a 1-foot wide strip of highway owned by the city of Chicago all the way down Irving Park Road, and that's the way they connect O'Hare Airport, which is technically Chicago, to the city of Chicago. He could sell that for millions.
Yeah, or he could just lease it out to the Sinaloas to have the fentanyl distributed. 312-642-5600. I'm mad I can't go in the other room and punch Squirrel in the face right now. Mad about it.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Your local State Farm agent, Anthony DeGrotto, combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Stuck in Illinois? Between the taxes, the politics, the weather, it's exhausting. But leaving isn't as simple as packing up and going. That's where leavingil.com comes in. We help you create a smart step-by-step plan so you don't make the wrong move at the wrong time. Start with our quick exit readiness assessment today. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
It's hard to deny the constant attack of negative emotions that flood us online. The fear, anxiety, worry, and confusion that come from the constant stream of news and social media can be overwhelming. There is a way to escape this never-ending cycle and find peace, hope, and joy in your daily life. Christianity.com, with a wide range of daily devotionals, biblical answers to life's toughest questions, and insightful Bible study articles from your favorite pastors and authors on current events and issues, Christianity.com provides a little heaven on earth. Go to Christianity.com now.
AM 560, The Answer.
So in 2013, it was legalized in the United States to propagandize its citizens. What?
What?
Like, that's some scary third world stuff going on. That's the kind of stuff that people use to topple governments, to take away freedoms.
Yes, you heard that right. Almost a decade ago, propaganda was legalized in the United States with the passage of the Smith Modernization Act.
Barack Hussein Obama, first gay president in America, first non-citizen president in America, made certain you could propagandize America, which ties into CNN and somebody who is in charge of CNN telling us what they're going to do next after the elections and Democrat fiefdoms are stolen and secured for the American traitors called Democrats.
This story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced inner office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate, like global warming, and like that's going to be our next
It's Charlie Chester, Squirrel. Charlie Chester. Boy, it rhymes with molester, doesn't it? Charlie Chester. He is the director of CNN, caught on tape, exposing the plan after the elections to remove Donald Trump in the name of eco-Nazism and electric school buses and finding Kamala Harris. Yeah, nobody's taking Michelle Obama's underwear. Nobody wants that.
I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be constantly.
Well, you're the first student. Come on board. One of California.
Decline in ice and weather warming up and the effects it's having on the economy and really
Who decides that?
The head of the network,
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council and they've all discussed where they think.
So that's the next
pandemic story that will beat to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not does it?
Yeah, they've been selling this bulldog for years.
At least 8 times in the past million years, it has advanced and retreated with clockwork regularity. If we are unprepared for the next advance, the result could be hunger and death on a scale unprecedented in all of history. What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they
Scientists like who? Whores for sale. We'll be back in 21.